Hypocrisy.
Intro's over. Oh, hey, there it is. Thank you for catching up, StreamYard. That was wonderful. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Lawsplaining the Interwebs. I am your host, Nick Ricada. There's no audio? What the fucking hell? I have no idea what's going on. Is the audio back? Dude, StreamYard, like, I obviously haven't done anything. Okay. StreamYard glitched out in the middle of playing the intro. So that was nice. Thank you. Thank you, StreamYard. What's up, guys? Welcome to Lawsplaining the Interwebs. I'm your host, Nick Ricada of Ricada Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. And with me today is Legal Mindset.
What's going on, guys? Listen, I've been wearing the suit for like 9 hours. It's casual time. It's casual time.
Why would you wear a suit on this show?
On this show, as if you were respectable. What's going on here? No way. No way.
I'm surprised people wear clothes at all, to be frank.
and you know what's funny? I'm still dressed 90% better than most people visiting Disney World. Heyo.
Why is everybody calling you Adam?
Oh, because whenever I wear the hoodie, this is the same personality as that night with Joe, where I was like, yo, let's fight Nick Ricada. Let's go in. Let's take him down. Let's go. Let's get Nick Ricada. We got him. We got him. And then you pop on stream, right? You know?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So this is my fighting Disney gear. You know, I'm ready to give the mouse a sucker punch. And I hate their lawyers. I hate them for Disney and for Reedy Creek. So I'm happy to go in on this with you.
Oh, perfect. This is great because I know very little about this. You have helped me kind of start to learn a little bit more about it. And now, right after my education camp is complete, DeSantis comes in swinging a pair of brass balls, wrecking balls right into Disney's legal protections. Well, I shouldn't say DeSantis. The legislature of Florida started it. And then DeSantis is going to sign it and just drop it on the table and crush their tax status and their special Reedy Creek self-governance.
Yep. And that's the big one. That's the one that's really going to hurt them is disbanding the district and disbanding the protections they've had there for decades now. And all of this is over virtue signaling to some LGBTQ plus people that have no impact on their share stock price, have no impact on their operations, their day-to-day operations, to cater to a small, woke minority. They're going to lose billions and billions. And because this is not something that is gone now today, this is something that's going to impact them forever into the future. They will never recover this.
Yeah, I mean, this is because the deal they got was made in a different time.
Yes.
It was made in a time of Disney being magic instead of Disney being tolerated.
It was made before Florida had a constitution. It was made before we had separate acts that we passed to the legislature relating to special districts and disclosure requirements, meeting requirements, other like administrative requirements that we now require of all special districts in Florida. And by the way, I say that as somebody who represented several special districts in Florida, including some very close to Disney. So I know all of the requirements because that's what I did. That was my job. So Disney is exempt from all of that and from any oversight from anybody, which they shouldn't be. And all because this was 1960. Well, DeSantis hasn't signed yet, as far as I've seen. I haven't seen him sign yet because it's got to go to the House and it's got to go to DeSantis. It's going to pass the House and it's going to go to DeSantis, but technically not yet.
Okay. Well, we can...
yes.
Rubbing my mitts together. Disney needs a comeuppance. If for no other reason than that abomination turning red that I had to sit through the other day. I hope they lose every special status. I hope they get some special extra status. I hope they get double regulated, double plus secret regulation.
Wait,
Where
did they come after you?
No. They made. I had to watch this movie called Turning Red.
Oh, I've never even heard of this.
Yeah. It's a Disney Pixar production. It
I'm
is the
Googling
first.
it right now.
It is the first all-female creative team for Pixar. What do you think the subject of Turning Red was?
Oh, red panda, the big red panda. I've heard about this because my Chinese girlfriend was like, "This is really racist," and I'm like, "Yes, it is. Yes,
Yeah.
it is."
Yeah. Do you know what it's about? Periods. It's about periods. It's about menstruation. The first all-female writing or creative cast of Pixar for a movie makes a movie about menstruation because of course they do. And it's some little girl's first menstrual cycle, which turns her into a giant red panda
Oh my
of
God.
horniness and partying and rebellion against her traditional Chinese mother, who's an overbearing catch you next Tuesday. And she starts legal mindset. She starts getting B pluses in schools.
Oh my God, B pluses! You are ejected from Asia. You are no longer welcome on the continent. Oh wait, that's why you're in America in the first place, because you couldn't hack it. Get over there. Get off the continent. Get out of the century. That's it. That's it. You're a failure. To the wall. It's done.
It was, but not only like is it objectively terrible messaging and just it's also just a shitty movie. Like
Right.
it's really boring.
It's also
not
pretty
exciting.
racist. Like seriously though, like that is pretty like if you're talking about stereotypes, like playing into the literal stereotype.
They have a tiger mom. Like her mom
Right.
is a tiger mom. It's the funniest thing. I'm sitting there, I'm watching this. I turn to my wife because my daughter watched it and she's like, "Oh, I want to have family movie night where we all watch this movie." I'm like, Pixar movie. I'd probably take a nap through this. Okay, cool. I sit down, we start watching this thing, and I'm looking at my wife like every 10 seconds, like, what the hell is this? Are you kidding? And they did this? If I did this, I'd be banned. How did they get away with this? But it's not funny. That's the worst part. It's not like.
Did you have to have a conversation with your kids afterwards? Like, okay, let's unpack this real quick. Like, how did you you just bared through it? You just finished it?
We just sat down and got done. And I was like, okay, well, that's that. Because I don't think my daughter liked it because I'm pretty sure my daughter liked it because the child learns to be herself to rebel against her parents. And that just describes my oldest daughter to a T. It's really funny. She latched onto it. And so we kind of knew that angle. The rest of it, we learned very quickly, but I think the rest of our kids, it flew right over their heads that when their mom menstruates so hard that she turns into a building-sized kaiju and starts wrecking a stadium with a boy band, and then she has to be calmed down by her mother and her sisters. So the grandmother and all the aunties, they have to sync up their period cycles and all turn into red pandas.
They sync them. They sync them together.
Yes. They've been suppressing them. They've been suppressing their periods for years under a guise of Chinese control and stoicism. And they have unleashed their periods now, and they all become red pandas to bring their beloved sister back, because she will go so far into her menstrual hysteria that she won't be able to recover. And they have to drag her into a summoning circle where David Lopan performs a magical spell to bind her period back into normal status. And I wish I was making this up because it would have been really creative.
Oh, this is horrible, Nick. This is like literally horrible. Yeah. Yeah.
It is the most ridiculous. I wish
kids groomed, period groomed. That's it.
Oh, and not to mention, so when she becomes the red panda, right? Like she's super party animal because she's rebelling against her stoic traditional Chinese mother. And so she becomes like a literal party favor and she gets hired out to go to parties. And the last one was this 14-year-old boy's party where he rode her around. Like,
A boy is riding around a 14-year-old girl around the party.
I mean, to be fair, she was a giant red panda, but yes. Yes. So he period rode a 14-year-old girl.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So
That's
that's the movie.
yeah.
There you
Mm-hmm.
go. I'm sitting
All
there
right.
like, what the fuck is happening? How did they make this? Why isn't this a satire?
But the real question is, Nick, where was the LGBTQ plus character? Did they make their 50% main character quota? Did they hit the quota?
There has to be one. So I don't even remember. Like, I'm just so focused on the menstruating. I was like, I was bedazzled, but I'm sure one of them, like, they had a fat one. They had they had a smorgasbord of color. It's like when you go and you're like, oh, I could buy black pepper or I could buy the pepper blend. It's the pepper blend. That's what it was in the grinder. And I don't know. I'm sure they had a lesbo character. I'm sure they had some other thing. It was just, oh God. It was terrible, dude.
This is bad, man. That's real far. I mean, in children's stuff, it seems like it's not that difficult to make children's stuff. You don't have to go that far or try that hard.
No.
And to inject those messages, it's just like, why? It makes no sense.
They talked about it. They're like, well, we wanted to tell our story. And I'm like, fuck you. I want you to tell my kids a little magical story, right? Like,
yeah.
Like, I watched
Not
that in
the
Kanto.
story about your about Chinese repression of periods.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
Like, I watched Encanto about an aristocratic family that enslaves a small town to do their bidding, and that one's perfect. I love making fun of Colombians. So Encanto's great. Encanto's, you know about Encanto, right?
No, I do not.
This is the Disney movie where it's Lin-Manuel Miranda doing the score or whatever, and it's this Colombian family that gets magical powers, and that magical powers creates a sanctuary city around in Colombia because of like some Colombian regime change ran them all out of their villages, and so they all congregate here, but they all live like basically in service to this magical family of supervillains. Who have a house that can murder people or can make your day great. Like, it can make you fried eggs and serve them to you, or it could put you into a gap in the floor and close over you forever. And, when everything goes to shit, the whole town comes out and just builds them another house, because why not? They've been enslaved to them for years. And they're like, oh, please tell us who the next power will be. And it's a religious ceremony. It's great. I love it. It's like, it's classism just baked into it. It's perfect.
That sounds good though. I would actually see that, because that sounds interesting. Like, that story sounds a little bit more interesting. Yeah,
it's actually a fine story. I like it. Our kids love that movie, but I'm putting a fun spin on it. But it is. When we got done, I was like,
Nick, you adding detail? You
I added no details.
But
when I got done watching it, I was like, these are just aristocrats lording over a small village. Like, they own them. They have generational and institutional wealth that they can never achieve because it's literal magic, and no one else will ever get it. Perfect. You can marry into the family, and that's it. It's great. Anyway, but all of this to say, because of Turning Red, I hope Disney goes so far into the red that they go out of business. I know they won't. Like, I know Disney is unflappable. They would have to have all of their rides fail at the same time, kill everyone on board, and the like fires from the rides would have to spread and burn every orphanage across the planet at the same time. And they might lose like a little bit, but they'd still probably survive.
Well, to be clear though, and I said this on my channel, I just did a video on this. Kurt jumped on and joined me, but the majority of the revenue is still parks. Now, that was, I know those revenue numbers were like before Corona, but I mean, I imagine that even after Corona, it's not going to change much, that the IP does not generate as much as the parks. Part of that money generation for parks, part of that profitability is Disney World. It is still the most profitable site because it is really multiple sites. It's really like multiple theme parks. If you took, all the Disney Worlds from across the world, they would still fit inside of Disney World in Orlando, Florida. That's how big it is. So the majority is still parks, but part of that profitability has been the fact that they've been able to offload these costs. They've been able to issue tax-free bonds. That have been able to get out from under regulation, get out from under impact fees, get out from under having to finance Orange County and Osceola County at large. And frankly, some of those counties, Osceola County, a very poor county. That county is starving for money. They would love even a little bit off the top of Disney. and they will take every opportunity to hit them with some sort of fees if this, once this rolls over and once they're under the jurisdiction of Osceola County. So in Orange County, they do simp pretty hard, but something that you've said is very true. There are people who will simp for Disney night and day. It is crazy. I remember when I was in Orlando, if I saw a girl with the Disney ears on her head on a dating profile, I just swiped left and kept going. It was done.
You're going to go broke.
Yes.
Because you're going to have to take like biannual trips to Disney for the rest of your life. Well, why can't we stay on property? Well, bitch, you got $10,000. Like,
it's like, well, I wanted to stay at the Grand Floridian, Nick. I wanted to stay at the Grand Floridian. It's just, and I want to eat at Victoria and Albert's, which is only like $1,000 a piece. You can't afford that. You can't afford the special luxury event. You can't do that for me.
Yeah,
get out of here. You work at Chick-fil-A.
You've met the princesses 9 times. You know all of their personal names. Can we just move on?
And you're 34. That's the other thing. And you're 34 years old. You're 36 years old. You're not 14. You're not 12. You're not 13. It's an insane. No, I mean, Nick.
No, you're right. I know. I'm laughing with you.
Yeah, it's like you're grown ass adults. I get it. Like, look, I used to, way back in the day, I used to go to Epcot and used to do the drinking around the world. That was fun. I would win that game because with my tolerance, I could usually go twice around the world. But, beyond that, I mean, I really did not enjoy going there. The crowds, the people, the yelling, the kids. As a guy who doesn't have kids, I mean, frankly, they're lovely when they're yours, but when they're somebody else's,
oh, dude.
I don't want to deal with that shit.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. I've been to Disney World a couple times in my life, and a couple times recently because my parents are like, "Hey, let's get all the kids. We'll go to Disney." It's like, I mean, as long as I'm not buying, okay, so that's fine. And so we go though, and it's just, I mean, there's just a billion people, and you go and you wait in line, and it's hours. It's like, oh my fucking hell, I don't want to. It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. And you used to be able to buy your way to the front of the line. You can't really do that anymore. And it's, oh God, because I would in a heartbeat. Well, you kind of can.
It's with the annual pass holders, you have a limited amount to do it. Well, it's a timing thing. You can go.
You can do the tour. You can do the private tour of Disney.
Oh, sure.
It costs a lot.
You can do the private tour, but I'm saying as like a pass holder, because I was at one point a while ago. Once again, this is a long while ago. I was a pass holder, and you were able to. When I was a pass holder, you were able to like reserve rides ahead of time on the app. So
you got to you can do that. You got to be way ahead of time though. Now, yes. like if you want to reserve Space Mountain, it's like 6 weeks out or something stupid. It's crazy.
Some of the new rides were months out. Some of the restaurants are 6 months out. Like Le Soleil in Epcot. That one is like 6 months, 8 months out. You have to reserve that one. It's ridiculous.
That's insane. But you can do the tour, the private tour, which gets you to the front of the line on like every ride except for there was one ride that they don't do that on. I can't remember what it is. But all the others, they get you to the front. It might have been like one of the Star Wars experience things. I don't remember, but that's the only way to go. But you're dropping a fortune to do it. And yeah, so
and it's just,
by the way, I'm not dropping a fortune to do that. It would, I just take my kids to Legoland and pay like a quarter of the price and get the same treatment. And Legoland's a whole lot more fun.
And to be clear, I never actually paid for that pass because actually my firm worked with a company that gave us the passes for free. So that was a thing too. So I had access to Disney and Universal for free, which was my huge perks of being in Orlando. Right. Universal was way better. If I was going to go out, I would go to Universal. Like that was actually fun. And also like Universal really facilitated you getting drunk. Like they were like ahead of the game. Like they would hand out shots. They had Halloween Horror Nights. That was a good time. But Disney only got on the drinking when they saw how profitable it was and saw that millennials couldn't go anywhere without drinking. So like, fine, we'll put beer in Magic Kingdom.
Thank God. But anyway, so let's get into this. Maybe I should find an article on this thing.
I give you the actual bill. It's really short. So like I mean, and actually after reading it, I realized that the one thing the Democrats are reeing about and screeching about is complete bullshit and entirely made up, and all because they literally did not read the bill. They didn't read it because they're illiterate.
So the bill text didn't come through.
Oh, sorry. Let me send it one more time, man.
Yeah, no worries.
Here we go. Why did it fail to send? That's weird. I guess your connection went down. Oh, what it felt. Twitter is over capacity? Has this ever happened for you? No, I'm serious. It just said that, man.
I believe you.
Has that ever happened to you before? Like, what the fuck is that? I've never even seen that before. What the fuck is over capacity for Twitter?
Amber's turd is rounding the internet at such an alarming rate.
Did Elon just buy some shit out? Like, what's going on right now?
I don't know. Let's see. Can you just drop the link in the private
I did
chat?
In the private. Did it not?
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, there it is.
Perfect. Dude, I don't know, but maybe a whole bunch of shit's getting weird. Cause like when I started the show, I played the intro video and then it glitched out and like it stopped playing the audio for me. And I couldn't tell when the video even ended. And then when I got on, the audio was out and everything was weird. So who knows? Okay, here we go. Let's see. What do we got here? What am I doing? It's like I forgot how to run a show.
I think it may be because Be Poo is trending right now again.
Yeah, it is. Oh, it's great. That made me so happy.
Oh, I
unreasonably so. Yeah. All right, here we go. So here's the bill. It's entitled "An Act Relating to Independent Special Districts, Dissolving Certain Independent Special Districts."
Certain.
Authorizing the reestablishment of certain independent special districts and providing an effective date. Okay. So this is 2 pages.
That's it.
So the only stuff, the new stuff is in underline, right?
Underline. That's the only new stuff right there. So
notwithstanding section 189.072, any independent special district established by a special act prior to the date of ratification of the Florida Constitution on November 5th, 1968. Oh, that's beautiful. And which was not reestablished, re-ratified, or otherwise reconstituted by a special act or general law after November 5th, 1968, is dissolved effective June 1st, 2023. An independent special district affected by the subsection may be reestablished on or after June 1st, 2023, pursuant to the requirements and limitations of this chapter. So that's it. That's it. The whole bill.
That's the whole bill. So here's the thing. Okay. I can't name any other special district. So I can't name anyone other than the Reedy Creek Improvement District that was established before the Florida Constitution, before 1968. I can't name them. That doesn't mean they don't exist. I just haven't heard of them. And this is my specialty practice area in the state of Florida. So I'm just saying, if I don't know about them, I doubt there's anybody who knows about a special district that was existed before then. So,
right.
There you go. Maybe there's some mosquito controlled district, from near Fort Myers that was around and may need to be reestablished. Who knows? Something very minor. But here's the other thing.
Sure.
They said at the end, it can be reestablished pursuant to this chapter, because chapter 189 is the procedures in the Florida statutes to establish a special district, which is a district which has limited powers of government, powers of taxation. They can tax you on the property roll, and they have their independence. They're not dependent, i.e. the county commission doesn't sit as the board. They have their own elected officials, but it's composed of people within the boundaries of that district. So technically, Disney could be reestablished, and they could still use their employees that live on the Disney property as their, board members or whatever else. They can still do that. However, they lose their crazy strong powers, which will never be approved again. They lose their immunity from taxation. They lose their immunity from regulation. And they're a subject to things they should be subject to, like open meetings requirements, like disclosure requirements, like accounting, like auditing.
Like a police force?
No, they will not have police powers. So independent.
No, I mean they'll be subject to
the
police force.
Yes. Thank you, Nick. Yes.
So now someone might die in a Disney park.
Yes.
That's pretty interesting. So, because
there's a book about that. There's a book literally about all the deaths. I forget what the name of it is. Oh my God. Maybe the chat knows, but there's so many deaths that they hid. There's one where they infamously, allegedly, but held the body under the water of the lake near Magic Kingdom until the
Put
end
some
of the
rocks in
night,
his jacket.
and then let him back up and floated him over because they didn't want anybody to see it. They didn't want anybody to see the dead body.
Yeah, it's wild because they have their own private security force. And it's cool when you're there, and like if you I got to go like behind the scenes, when they were transporting us between parks, because I did do the tour. Like
Yeah.
I didn't have to pay for it, thank God, but we did do the tour, and as they're transporting you between parks, like you get to see the brutalist architecture that's behind all the structures. It looks like Russia, and they've got just legions of SUVs that there is their private security. I mean, it looks just like a police department of a major metro area. It's cool.
Yeah, it's Paris in the front, Moscow in the back, right?
Yeah. Yep. It's amazing. But
and they've spent decades putting in this infrastructure, And what they've done is, and what you're able to do in governments all over the United States, Florida's no exception to this, is if you're building something and it has a plausible government use, let's say it's a road, you can use bond money for that. And the advantage of that, if you're a government, is it is tax-free. If Disney, the corporation, went to issue a bond, a corporate bond, that is a taxable bond. The IRS comes in and takes a significant portion of that money. However, if it's a public good, it's tax-free. And not only that, but you get to issue it out to people at large. They find that government bonds are way more credible than corporate bonds. They're held to a kind of higher investment standard. They're kind of the A grade or AAA grade. So they're extremely high standard. So RCID is able to market these. Exactly.
That's
all over
the
the
trick.
world.
You can sell them all over the place, and you can sell them with good rates, and people will buy them because of the credibility. So yeah, losing this is pretty impactful for Disney. I think. Well, I mean, it'll be impossible to see, but expect park prices to rise.
They always are, though, Nick.
They always do. Yeah. Yeah,
they do it for the lulz. I mean, they had to do it because the last one they had to do, the major one they did, was because of the epic failure of Star Wars Land. Have you seen that, Nick? Have you been there?
So I went to they didn't have the hotel up yet. The hotel's
the
new.
Galactic Cruiser.
Yeah.
Oh man, that one has been a bomb, and I'm so glad that I think Doomcock had somebody on that covered like the inside reviews. But I've heard from people I know who've gone, and they've said the exact same thing. It is horrible, and it is overpriced, and the acting is terrible. It's insane.
I saw the video like demonstrating the lightsaber training, and it made me want to die. Like just watching that made me want to. I don't even like Star Wars, by the way. Like I'm not. Like,
Nick, Drex and I, we always go into like hour-long conversations about Star Wars every single stream. Like, I don't even bring it up. We just have a Star Wars conversation that goes for an hour.
I know. Look, I know. I've been friends with Drexel a very long time. I know. Well, this is a point of disagreement between us. I'm not a big fan of Star Wars. It's fine if other people like it. I have my criticisms of it. We don't need to get into it here. Unless you want to, but I'm just saying.
I mean, it's fine. I was a fan of the stuff. I read the books, the Timothy Zahn books. I thought those were great. I built a lot of the models before there were Lego kits. I actually built the Star Wars ships out of like regular Legos, and they came out with the pre-made kits. And I'm like, that's cheating. You guys have no fucking creativity.
They pissed me off when they did that because that ruined all of the cool space Lego sets that they used to make, that Lego used to create themselves. And when I was at Legoland and asked the master builder on site, I was like, hey, so where the hell all my cool, like, where did the magnet space thing and space police and the Arctic Force or whatever the hell it was called, where'd all that shit go? And he's like, yeah, once we created Star Wars or licensed Star Wars products, no one would buy any other space stuff. So we just canceled it all. It's like, thank you, Emperor Palpatine, you piece of shit. No, no, but the reason I bring up that I'm not the biggest fan of Star Wars is because even though I'm not the biggest fan of Star Wars, I can go like and enjoy things. But like looking at it, I felt bad for the fans of Star Wars. Seeing what came out of what they were building. I'm like, man, if I was a fan of Star Wars, I'd be extra pissed at this weak showing.
Well, not only does it piss off the fans, but Nick, you are exactly the person they wanted to market. They said that this is going to market to the Nick Rekitas of the world, the people that aren't into Star Wars. This is going to be their entry into Star Wars. This is going to get them into Star Wars. This is going to convince them to go to Star Wars, land, because it's going to be so cool and so updated to the modern era.
I was drug into that area of the park, like, because by the time we got there, I was already tired of walking around. I'm like, okay. So we get over there and it's like, all right, can I go ride the Hulk ride again? Because that ride's pretty cool. Like, the Hulk ride's fucking fun. But no, so you get drug over there and it's like, okay, this is Harry Potter Land at Universal is better. And I don't like Harry Potter either.
But it's themed well.
Yeah.
And they did everything. It just flows like Harry Potter Land flows, especially the one on the Universal side, the Diagon Alley on that side. That part, you're like literally immersed because you walk through, you're inside of it. That's all you can see, right?
Yep.
And the people know the lore, but they're not like overly overacting or anything like that. It feels like, for example, in Star Wars, they're just all kind of like overacting. They're just kind of just being cool about it, like going about living their lives like you would in regular, wizardly London. Plus, you have shots. You can go there and get your drinks. You can go there and get your food. It's well themed. I think Universal really thought that out well and did it well. I look forward to Universal's new theme park when they finish building that out.
Universal, as it stands, on balance, is, I think, just a better park than Disney for adults to go to. It's more entertaining. Although I will say
they pull adults more than that. So that's the difference. They pull adults and they actually listen to adults more than Disney, which really just is trying to target the youths, right? They're trying to groom. Groomer's going to groom, right? They're trying to target the young. Yeah.
And but I will say, out of all of them, I think the best ride, one of the best rides is that fucking Avatar ride at Disney.
You like that one?
The Animal Kingdom one where you're riding on the beast.
That's overrated, man. I would, for Disney rides. Okay, for Disney rides, I actually prefer the stupid Expedition Everest one over the Avatar one.
I don't know if I did that one.
Yeah,
I don't know if I did that one, but the Hulk ride's legit. I will.
The Hulk ride at Universal.
No, was that a Universal?
The roller coaster that shoots you out? That's a Universal, bro. Yeah. It spins you immediately. That's a Universal. That ride, they started by allowing you, because I went as a middle schooler. We were actually the ones who got to test that ride. They allowed us on with everything. The problem was
newer than you as a middle schooler to me.
Oh, no, it's not,
Islands of Adventure.
Islands of Adventure was invented in the 90s. I was a middle schooler. I'm a Ute. I'm a Ute,
Oh yeah, you're like 19. I forget.
Yeah, I'm hip, young. Yeah, it's exactly, one of the kids. Hello there, fellow kids.
Yeah. Okay. So, but yeah, so that ride's a lot of fun. Actually, Universal just has a lot of good rides. The Harry Potter motorcycle ride's a lot of fun too. That thing's cool.
The new one with the Hagrid ride. That is actually good. It doesn't even go upside down. Spoiler alert, but it's fun. It's just a fun ride, and they make the experience fun. They even make the queuing fun. Like, the queue is like not miserable. It's also mostly in the shade because they realized it is a pain. It is in Florida to be outside the shade. So they realized with the Harry Potter rides, with the castle and with the motorcycle ride, to mostly have them in the shade or inside.
Yes. Okay. What?
Yes, and we do know. I did see. Yes, Attorney Tom is too short for that ride. I do know that. Yes.
I've missed your member chat 2 months in a row. ASO. I mean, okay. I don't look. Sorry. Sometimes YouTube doesn't let me preserve the member chats. Only the super chats. It's a failing of YouTube system. And so if something happens and I miss it, I can't find it. But he says, can you tell him that Disney World has built concrete mountains, including one in 2005 for $100 million US. Very cool. Yep. Very cool.
Yep. And that's not even that expensive, frankly, for doing that work nowadays. I mean, that's not.
Oh yeah. But let's briefly talk about why this happened, because you brought up a great point. This is the dumbest,
go in on this.
The dumbest virtue signal in the entire planet, because Florida's legislature passed a bill that is supported in large part by parents. And
Mhm.
the reason it's supported by parents is because all they go is, wait, yeah, I actually don't want a barely out of college person teaching my children about sex because they're probably a degenerate. That
Mhm.
that's it. That's it. It's such this simple concept. My child ages K through 3, so up to 8. I just don't want a 26-year-old teacher teaching my 8-year-old about gender identity, about orientation, about any of that, because it's just not really what I want the public school to do. And so this thing passes both houses really easily, gets signed by DeSantis, and Disney, for some reason, aligns with a minority of teachers. Not
Mhm.
even aligns with teachers, but aligns with a subset of teachers who go, no, we really want to teach these subjects to kids.
And frankly, the reason why they're getting mad is probably because they were probably already talking about this with kids in an inappropriate manner. They're
Yes.
probably getting mad because you're calling them out on their grooming. Like only a groomer would get mad at being called out for doing that. Any rational, reasonable person. Everyone I've talked to people here in Korea about it. I've said, hey, here's this bill. Like, what would you think about this? They're like, are you fucking kidding me? Is this even a conversation? Like,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. A reasonable person would never ever want to talk to children about these sexual topics. And it's something that doesn't come up even in normal sex ed. You don't have sex ed in third grade in Florida. It's something that doesn't happen. So why would you all of a sudden decide you need to educate them on, what transitioning is?
Exactly. It just, the only way it can come up is through an artificial means. And oh, by the way, you dummies of TikTok, you you weird like
Shout out
trans
to shout out to libs of TikTok. They're trying to come for him. That's yeah, that
her.
was her. Sorry, her.
Yeah, I'm bigot.
Yes, I misgendered like Johnny Depp.
So it's like yeah, so and libs of TikTok is actually probably in part responsible for this bill, to be honest. Because they grabbed that video of the fucking weirdo who's like,
Yep.
I can't wait to come out to my second grade class. It's like, they don't need you to come out to them. You have no relationship in which that is relevant to them at all. And by the way, you wouldn't need to come out as hetero either, because it might be a surprise to some of them that you're hetero. Like,
I'm hetero. Surprise.
wait, I got
I doubt it.
there. I mean, yeah. It's like, come on. No one needs this. And it's that shit. And this is the actual epidemic in the United States. This
Yes.
is the epidemic. It is this not a desire, this incessant need to impose culture on youth and boast about it and be proud about it and agendize it. And then you want to come out and say, well, there is no agenda for this. It's like, I just will literally bleed if I don't do it. It's like, fucking stop. Just stop. Just leave these damn kids alone. Teach them math and English. What the hell? You didn't take this course in your shitty education major program. Just teach math, English, science, whatever shitty science class you have. Put the baking soda and the lemon juice in the little fake volcano and watch it foam and make a mess on the desk, and have Consuela come and clean it up after hours while she curses the white teachers who do this all the time and can't properly clean. Like, just have that thing that everybody has done, because it was fine. It was fine.
No, they can't do that, Nick. They can't do that. And they got to put it in everything. And we even saw with the textbooks, which was the follow-up, right? The textbooks where, the majority of textbooks, or a significant portion of textbooks, got kicked out. I think it was like 40% or something. Now, of course, part of that was, this was once again, the mainstream media spinning it. Part of that was Florida removed the Common Core. So they don't teach Common Core anymore. So part of that was saying, okay, these books like overly emphasize Common Core, so we're going to boot them out. But part of it, at least, some of those numbers, the math books they rejected, were because of CRT. And it was, for example, like there were problems. I think someone was showing the Maya Angelou problems, like, it's like X plus Y equals X, or like Y equals X minus 2. Maya Angelou was beat by her blank, and it was like boyfriend, father's brother. It was like, in part of a math problem. It was really, really weird.
No, I have the real answer. Not enough people. That's the actual answer to that question. That's Maya Angelou was beat by not enough people. I had to suffer through reading The Bluest Eye in college, and I will never
Oh, I remember
fucking
that.
forgive
That was
anybody for
horrible.
that shit.
That's fucking
Or wait,
horrible.
oh wait, no, that's Toni Morrison. I hate Maya Angelou
Hold on.
too. I mixed them up. Of course I did. Uh,
Yeah. Oh, I know why Cage Bird sings. Okay. Yeah. That's the one I
okay,
saw.
yeah. Yeah, I was mixing up Maya Angelou and Toni Morrison, who I hate equally. Like, because I don't care about you. I don't want your shitty poetry or short stories or novels or anything shoved into my face. Fuck off, please. Oh God.
Yeah, I mean, I try to, when I read for leisure, like I always read for leisure as a kid. I actually was part of like reading competitions where I like read like a, voracious amounts. I literally would read just based on sheer volume because I was reading like Lord of the Rings and like these like huge sci-fi novels and everything else. I was reading fucking War and Peace and shit, so I was just slamming through books. It was only when I became older and had to read all this woke shit and had to read all this terrible, terrible stuff that I started to hate reading. It made me hate something that I loved as a kid because I had to read such garbage. And I had to kind of rediscover it as an adult. Like, hey, I really enjoy reading. I just like reading good stuff. It's like movies. I enjoy good movies. I do not like bad movies. I do not want to waste my life on that. I have better stuff to listen to.
Yeah.
I have, ways that can improve my life that don't involve 3 hours, 4 hours of being propagandized.
Yeah, what? You see, you're hitting my buttons, man. You're hitting.
Oh man, that's what I'm here for, man. I'm here to trigger you. This is the other personality,
Wait, are you gonna go? Are you gonna watch The Batman?
Drex keeps telling me to watch it, and
don't listen to this man. Stop listening.
Drex keeps telling me to do things, and he shows me these baldos. He tells me to watch the Batman. It's just he's telling me a lot of things, Nick. He's leading me down a bad path.
The Batman is 3 hours long. Why would you do that to yourself?
He thinks Robert Pattinson is sexy, and he said
I know.
it's not that
look,
woke.
I've long said that the baldo was for Drexel. It always was. It always was. Don't. Oh my God. I don't want to, like, 90 minutes or series. That's your two options now. We've gotten past this point where if I want to make a good story, I got to make a feature film, and it's a long story, so I got to condense it down and I got to get it under 3 hours if I can, because otherwise it'll never sell. We don't have to do that anymore. If you want to tell a 10-hour story, put it in a series. Done. The series has the same production value as a major film now. Don't give me a 3-hour movie. I never want to sit there for 3 hours on one thing, unless I do, in which I will choose to play the second episode. That's it. Mm-hmm. That's it. I'm so fucking tired of this. 90 minutes. Don't give in. Robert Pattinson is still gay. Look, here, I can do all of Robert Pattinson's acting in 1 second. There. That was all of Twilight. That was every scene. That was
all he needed. That's all he needed to have was the stare.
Yeah, exactly. It was so fucking bad. Oh, look, I hear The Lighthouse is good, and I don't believe any of you. I know the chat's about to go Lighthouse, or like 50 million times. Nope, I don't care. Twilight ruined Robert Pattinson for me, and thank God that he did. The only worse person in Twilight than Robert Pattinson was Kristen Stewart.
I mean, I was going to say, but she's supposed to be a horrible actor because, I mean, that character is supposed to be a stand-in. So essentially she's supposed to be like nothing, sort of.
She's a starfish on the screen.
But that's how she's supposed to be, Nick. She's supposed to be a starfish,
Yeah, I know, but it's terrible. So she's supposed to be Mark Hamill, you're saying?
This is where Drexel fights you right now is, when you shame our Lord and Savior, Mark Hamill, God rest the blue manatee milk out of the manatee titty. Yeah, that's just like you can't unsee that, right? You can't unsee that. Oh, and they did that intentionally, by the way, to like beta-tize Luke to make him the ultimate
he
like
didn't
incel.
Need any help.
But they made him into an incel. Like before, maybe he was MGTOW, but now he's an incel. Like he's upgraded. Like
he wasn't a MGTOW or an incel. He was just gay.
Come on. Kissing your sister counts. Come on.
I wish you were Han. That's how it went. Anyway. So, but yes, back to the subject. Sorry, riffing here.
No, it's good because this is all Disney, right? They own it all. They own it all.
They own all this bullshit, and
they fuck up all of it, and they ruin everything because they inject the same shit they tried to inject in Florida. They try to inject this everywhere. Disney has consistently, time and time again, proved that they will virtue signal over profitability. If you are a Disney shareholder, you are freaking insane. And they are banking on the fact that it is Disney. They will print money till the cows come home, no matter what. But how much, how far? They're literally testing. How far can they push this? How far can they push that lock that they've had forever? How far? And it's getting to a breaking point because they're discounting middle America. They're discounting the regular people who are like, we don't want to deal with this woke bullshit. And they're discounting the fact that even Democrats don't support people propagandizing their kids. Even people who voted blue, because a lot of them are the union Democrats, the people who just punch the blue card every single time. But they have families too, and they have kids too. And eventually when you're fucking with the kids, you're gonna mess with the elections. This is why we've seen the polling data, and the polling data is all shifting towards R. Yes, Corona has a lot to do with it, right? But this attack on the kids, that's definitely factoring in there nationwide. Florida's no exception.
Oh, that's where it started, because it started with CRT,
right?
And that's when parents started going, wait, what? You're teaching my look, and it's Democrats too, and they're like, no, I mean, I want to lift up black people and Hispanics. I really want to do that. But you're teaching my kid that they're bad because they're white? Like, because it kind of seems like you're telling my kid that they're unavoidably damaged by being white. And I don't believe that. I mean, I believe we should help other people. I believe in some equality and maybe some fair taxation. But I mean, my kids aren't bad.
But Nick, what the biggest issue in math is really white supremacy. I mean, I sent the workbook that is, adopted in California as policy to the private chat. If you want to pop it open, I popped it open for a second. But you're going to get triggered real quick.
Oh no, equitable
this is
math.
what was, yes, this is approved in California. This is what they want to put out all across the United States. This is the template they want for all educators across the United States is boom. This is just one of the educational materials for the instructors, for the educators. So first step is get the teachers super woke.
Yes.
And then get the teachers to teach the kids. This is literally been adopted by California. And this is what they want to put in math classrooms across the United States.
Empress of Misconception says, math, I'm out. Don't worry, honey, there's no math here. There's no math happening. Exercises for educators to reflect on their own biases to transform their instructional practice.
Oh, just read that first paragraph and you're going to be happy about it. This is going to get you.
This tool dismantling racism in mathematics.
Can't make this shit up.
Equals white supremacy.
It's coming.
God.
Read it.
Here we go. This tool provides teachers an opportunity to examine their actions, beliefs, and values around teaching mathematics. The framework for deconstructing racism in mathematics offers essential characteristics of anti-racist math educators and critical approaches to dismantling white supremacy in math classrooms. Apparently, they've never met a kid from India or anywhere
Exactly.
in Asia.
I object on behalf of Asia as the Korean correspondent here. Come on, this is ridiculous. I think it's Asian supremacy in mathematics, but what does anybody know?
Well, dude, so I grew up in Houston, Texas until I was just about 10. Then we moved to Minnesota, and I did the first half of fourth grade in Houston, the second half in Minnesota. I moved in the middle of the school year, right? And I was in the advanced math class. I know the chat will make fun of me. Remember, this was fourth grade before I stopped being a math.
So was I too. So was I when I was a kid, very young.
And I was sitting there, and I was very fast at math. I was very good. And there were 2 Indian kids in my class. And we would do the timed quizzes. And the people who, whoever won, they got like a little extra thing, like a piece of candy or whatever. I never fucking got shit. Those Indian kids won every day. It was a guy and a girl, and they alternated kicking everyone else's ass in those classes constantly. They won every time. I was like, how can I compete with this? These are computers walking around here.
Nick, in their defense, that was the only sustenance they got all day. So, I mean, they really needed that candy. Okay. They really had to work for it.
True. they were very small people. And I was tiny. Like so, little Arjit or whatever was a little kid. Shit. So here we go. Dismantling white supremacy in math classrooms by making visible the toxic characteristics of white supremacy culture, from Jones and Oken 2001, and Dismantling Racism 2016, with respect to math. Building on the framework, teachers engage with critical praxis in order to shift their instructional beliefs and practices towards anti-racist math education. By centering anti-racism, note, rather than math,
yes,
we model how to be anti-racist math educators with accountability.
You don't need to read any more of the workbook. That tells you everything you need to know. Everything you need to know is right there. It's like, where is math in this? Math is not even, the importance of math is not even around here. It is all centered, like you said, around anti-racism and white supremacy.
Has anybody looked at all of these people?
I have not. You are free to make fun of them. I think that is your forte, Nick. You happen to be a little bit of a man of culture in that sense.
Sonia Mitchell Cintron. Let's see if we've got an image. Okay. That's Sonia N. Cintron.
She looks woke enough.
There we go. Okay, here we go. Sonia Michelle Cintron.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think, is this her? Let's see. Here we go. Yep. Got it. Do we want to play guess the characteristics?
Stay on target.
And we're back.
And we are hitting hard with the characteristics. Yep.
This year, I haven't read this. This school year, I hope that we don't get bogged down so much with content that we forget the social, emotional well-being of our students. I hope we remember the humanity within each student and reach out and give support when needed. Oh, you know what? I actually agree with that. I like that quote. It's a nice quote. Unfortunately, the part that she says, the content that we forget, what she means is math. Yeah. That's what she means. Yeah. That's the unfortunate reality there. Oh God, I don't want to sit and go through all these people, but
no. But this is all there. They have another. This is actually a PDF from the website. You can back up to the main website here and view this content. But yeah, I mean they're promoting this. They're trying to. It's equitablemath.org. So if you just literally knock out about half of that URL, you go to the main page and you see the stuff they're putting out there, what they're trying to sell to associations around the US. It just happens to have taken root in California, in places like Berkeley, in places like they have Irvine on here. They've got San Diego County, Los Angeles County. These are places that have pretty much adopted this.
This is how fucking broken. This is in a math class. So students being tracked into courses, pathways, and within the classroom. So this has to do with
yes,
with putting kids in advanced and remedial classes.
Yep.
I'm guessing. Yeah, reinforcing paternalism and power hoarding. So
yes,
you don't want those advanced kids to get more advanced and to capitalize on their skills. You want them to get back to the middle and suppress them. But instead of tracking students this way, provide students with opportunities to give feedback to teachers about the classroom and instruction. Verbal example, fist to 5 instead of 0 to 5, right?
So fist to 5. Yes, fist to 5, right?
How well do you understand what we talked about today? Fist to 5. How well did I teach this today?
Yes. And they've actually said part of this is they said they need to incorporate slogans and activist language and slogans into the math classroom. And they also talk about how somewhere in here, they talk about how we need to, how all of it is related to imperialism, capitalism, and one more, whatever the other one is. Paternalism. Oh, sorry, like
Oh, yeah.
paternalism or,
Yep.
the misogyny, my misogyny,
A patriarchy.
It all goes together, right?
Give me that
Capitalism,
sweet
patriarchy, imperialism, it's the Triforce.
It's the Triforce. I was just going to say it. So this one, yeah. White supremacy culture shows up in math classrooms when language acquisition is equated with mathematical proficiency. So a common misconception is that students who are negotiating language are unable to communicate their mathematical knowledge. This reinforces quantity over quality when teachers reduce math teaching to things that are more easily measurable, like literal math. They reduce math teachings to things that are more easily measurable, like literal math. This not only denies opportunities for more engagement with more rigorous math. I guess rigorous math?
Yeah, more rigorous than literal math.
But it also creates a dynamic of paternalism where teachers are deciding for students what math they should interact with without true consent. Well, you know what? I was going to teach subtraction today, but you choose what to interact with.
Yeah.
The idea that mathematics instruction has to happen separately from language reinforces either or thinking rather than considering how they interact with and build upon each other. So here we go. Classroom strategies, color coding ideas. They mean color as in race. Learning vocabulary in student languages, visual and kinesthetic learning, representations of learning without words. Jesus.
Yeah. And it all starts, by the way, each chapter starts with white supremacy shows up. Like literally that line is in every single section. White supremacy, white supremacy, white supremacy. They try to say it over and over again to program your mind. It's really insane. I love this. They got the Latinx there, the phrase that only white progressives use, that no Latino in my history has ever fucking said.
No, every Latino. They're all Latinx now. That's it. Yep.
That's it.
I get triggered. How am I authentically including Latinx and multilingual students? White supremacy culture shows up in math classrooms when good math teaching is considered an antidote for mathematical inequality for Black, Latinx, and multilingual students. Best practices for math pedagogy often exclude the unique needs of Black, Latinx, and multilingual or migrant students. What are their unique needs? It's fucking math. It's literally just 1 + 1 = 2.
And the answer is, if they can't speak the language, then you need an instructor that speaks that language. And you need ESL classes. You need secondary language instructors, right? They said the solution is to study ethnomathematics. That has nothing to fucking do with it. Like, what the fuck is that? Do you even know what ethnomathematics is? Most people don't even understand that. So that's some sociology bullshit that you got from your, gender studies class.
I know of a guy in 1939 who practiced ethnomathematics.
Oh, no.
The ethnomathematics of subtraction.
No, Ricada, no. Joe already calls me Goebbels. It's bad enough already.
It's a minus. It's a minus. That's what he was saying in German, I think. Right? Like, I don't speak German, but I can translate. That's what he was saying. 9 - 9.
Hitler really loved the square root of 3. Oh God. Oh, so good. Okay, that's a clip. That's unfortunately a clip. God damn it. You got me today, internet.
Oh shit. You're not supposed to laugh at your own jokes, but that was
good. Eventually. God damn it, Nick.
I'd never heard of ethnomathematics until this moment.
One thing they literally talk about is, so you got to relate it to their daily lives, and I'm like, oh, what? Like mixing purple drink. You're like, here, the purple drink is 1/5 codeine to 4/5 Sprite. And you're like, what the fuck is this shit? Like,
yes. And how many Skittles and Arizona watermelon iced teas do we need? Fucking hell.
Oh my God.
I love this world sometimes.
It's so
Aiden
horrible.
Bergen says, "Hey Nick, are you doing a show tonight? Day has been bad. Or glad you're doing a show tonight. Day has been
glad.
bad." Aiden, oh shit, man. I hope your day turns up. I hope you get to laugh at something. At least
Should
that'll be
always
good.
do that. It'll always improve your day.
Yeah, no kidding. Keldrick says somebody's got to have some dignity around here. That's why he wears the suit. But not tonight.
Not tonight. All dignity is gone.
So I have some other subjects if you've got a little time.
Yeah, I'll stick around for another like 30 minutes or so, and then I got to bounce. I got a couple things to take care of. It's daytime here, so I try to get
I'm going to read like 5 super chats to kind of try and keep on top of them.
Yeah, let's do it.
And I'll skip I'll do the Depp herd recap later because I want to get into this Elon Musk.
I want to hear about this, the strategy. So from what I hear, he's already, from what I've been told, he's already come up with the strategy to kind of circumvent the poison pill that they've put in place. So
yeah, that wasn't even what I was going to talk about, but that is really like that subject is really interesting. There's so much going on with this thing, but I'm talking about 2 articles from Tech Dirt. Okay.
Okay.
Tech Dirt is just insufferable. The first article is that Elon Musk doesn't understand free speech, and the next one is Elon Musk doesn't understand internet censorship. And so it's great because I started reading them and I was like, I'm furious. It's like you're sitting there with your pipe and your paper. Like, Nancy, find me a dog to kick. Just fucking hate these people so much. 11 Bravo Crunchy says, Nick, first time catching the beginning of the night show. I survived passing through Mud Duck Land this afternoon. Wish me luck for my return trip. I'm still working on the vodka, but I will be buying you a bottle of whiskey. Hey, thank you, brother. Drive safe, man. Mandy Karavichus, we cried because we haven't seen each other in 8 years. Holy shit. Plus, my brother shed a tear because he's been out of Texas for so long, and you always shed a tear for your homeland. Plus, I'm a girl, so suck my butt, Ricada. One, as the French say, who doesn't like having their butt sucked? So
that is very French.
Mark Lacasse one says CEO Bob Chapek comes from the amusement park branch of Disney. This must be especially humiliating for him. Too fucking bad. That's what he gets.
Let it happen. He let it happen.
You let the 8 weirdos protest, and you set up a program inside Disney for gender identity recognition, and you mark the head protester as chair of the program, and they can make suggestions to the board about how to better incorporate gender inclusivity in the workplace that will have no visibility to the public, and then you just ignore them for the rest of their job. You give them a $2,000 pay raise, and that way they can go buy 8 more dildos and be happy. Literally, like that. I've just solved all of Disney's problems, and there you go. And then by the time you're dead, that will have metastasized into something worse for the next CEO, but you'll be dead, Bob Chapek, and you don't care. So just do that. You don't go to war with the state when you're so fucking reliant on the good graces of the state. Mm-hmm. And when I say the state here, I mean the small s state, the state that they're in, the state of Florida, not like a principled stance against the state, which I actually believe in general, but Disney doesn't. Their shareholders don't.
But here's the thing too, is the crazy thing is juxtapose this with California. California did everything in its power to shut down Disney World in California. They specifically went on the way to demonize theme parks in Disney World in California. They specifically went on the way to make it impossible for them to reopen. And even after all that, even after they're shutting them down, even after Disney begged and pleaded and they adopted all their woke programs, all their ESG, everything else they wanted, Gavin Newsom still fucked them over, but they still turned out and donated back to these politicians even after. During his recall campaign, they were donating to Gavin Newsom.
They have Stockholm syndrome.
I mean,
they're kept, right? Like they're the house corporation.
Well, they're more like the woke mafia is the pimp, and they're the streetwalker. I mean, they're just out there shilling for whatever. I mean, it's just, are they going to sleep with China today? Are they going to sleep with the LGBTQ plus today? Like, who do you want them to to go with, you know.
At least China has money.
That's true.
Like, I mean, the only LGBTQ person I know with money is Peter Thiel, and he didn't give a shit about any of this. Don't pay attention to them.
Well, you know, the rumor was that Peter Thiel was going to help out Elon.
In the Twitter acquisition.
In the Twitter acquisition, yes.
Oh, see,
it's the rumor. It's a scuttlebutt.
I'm for it.
Yeah.
King Dude says, very cool that you and Legal Grind Set buried the hatchet. Wait, what?
We were not. What the fuck? Like, okay.
He says, glad to see him back on the show. I wouldn't have forgiven him for what he said about your mother, but to each his own.
My line is, no matter what they say about you, Nick, no matter what they say about you, I still like you.
Oh, good. Yeah. My line is, it was all true, and I'm glad. Debbie O says, for the love of God, I want a refund, and I didn't even watch that fucking ridiculous movie. Disney seemed so great when I was a kid. They were fine. They just took Hans Christian Andersen stories and made them not have so much murder in them. That's all they did, and it was fine. Less murder, more music. 1M for another.
Mean, I'm not a fan of their extension of copyright, their extension of IP, and I would love to get somebody knows more about that, who does more about that, to like dig in on deep on that, because like attacking them, if they could 1-2 punch them on this, if they can get them on, you know, we're getting them in on Disney World and they're shill there, and then get them on IP on that end, then we got a party. Then Disney is really feeling it, and then they're really saying, okay, we got to get our shit together.
No,
after that.
The Korean Peninsula is just.
Oh fuck. Okay. Did my internet die here? Oh shit. Let me pop back in. Oh yeah, I'm back. Woo! It's the Legal Mindset Show. Welcome with Legal Mindset here. It's the Legal Mindset Jam. Yeah. Oh wait, shit. Here we go. Yeah, no, it's looking good. Yeah. So how's it going? How's it going, everybody? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good time out there. My name is Nick Ricada, and I'm here from the bathroom. Hope you're doing well. F's in the chat, or B's in the chat for bathroom. Let's see if this is working. Yeah, it is. Okay, cool. So damn, Nick's chat really moves, man. I can't move it like this. Oh, Nick died still. Yeah, so here we go, and Nick is back. What's up, Nick?
What? Did you get disconnected too?
Yeah, no. So what's happened is, when it froze, I thought it was me, so I dropped out, and then I came back, and I was like, it was you. It was you the entire time.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't me. It was StreamYard. That it kicked us both.
What, really?
Yeah,
No,
because I
I've manually closed it out and rebooted it.
yeah, but I went so I went upstairs to check because I was going to go switch to cell phone service and finish the show up there. But I went up and I went to grab my my Wi-Fi hotspot, and my wife was watching TV through the internet, and I'm like, "Your internet didn't go out?" She's like, "No, what are you talking about?" So something happened with StreamYard that fucking just kicked us out. It was weird.
It's okay. I missed the second. I was like, I'm the captain now.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know what the hell was up with that. Yeah, Ricada, you froze and legal mindset kept going. I mean, I guess.
I mean,
I don't know. That was weird as shit.
The stream must go on. The grift never sleeps.
So who knows? Use Rumble. I am on Rumble. Rumble is on right now. Every show is on Rumble and Odyssey. Okay, anyway, so that was very, very strange. Okay, so it didn't freeze you out, I guess.
Nope.
So must have been some issue between me and StreamYard, because my internet all stayed on. It blew my mind. I was very confused. Very confused. I don't even remember what we were talking about.
Like me during a Disney movie. Oh, we were just probably talking about how horrible Disney was. You know, yeah, that was pretty much it.
Oh yeah, no, someone said you screamed Korea, the Korean Peninsula. Well, because you did
Korea!
You froze up
if I
on my
threatened
screen,
Kim Jong-un,
and I figured you got nuked.
Yeah.
I figured
it's
it was
possible.
over.
It's possible. It's possible. I mean, for shit talking Kim Jong-un, because you know he watches. He's like, I see you, legal mindset. I'm coming for you. You know, so it's if they come for me. Yeah.
Regular mindset.
Regular mindset. I'm coming for you. Even though it's like a Japanese accent. Like, by the way, every time I try to pronounce anything in Korean, a girl will look at me and she'll be like, it's a Japanese accent, you ignorant American fuck. And I'm like, whatever, man. It's all the same. And then they get even more mad. It's lovely.
So sorry.
Triggered.
Kimchi, Samsung.
Kimchi, Samsung, LG. I love it. It's great.
Hyundai.
Yeah. BTS. Oh my God.
Okay, I got one more super chat to read for now, and then we'll talk some Twitter here. Kyle says, "Why is Nick's nose so big? Because air is free." Anyway, since you have Andrew on here, have him help you get in contact with Rollo Tomasi.
Yeah.
Drex has already had a show with him, so you're falling behind.
If you want to have Rollo on, I'm happy to coordinate that, or if you want, I'm happy to set that up for you.
Yeah, if you can help make a
Intro,
connection, that'd be very cool. Everybody tells me I need to talk to him, so
yeah, he's a cool guy. I think you guys would have a good conversation. You know, and he's been on my channel. He's a good friend of mine, and I'll see. We may cross paths when we're in Miami, which will be fun.
Yeah, well, let me know, and yeah, we can talk about grabbing balls or whatever. I don't know. I can ask him what it's like being named after a candy. I'll just do dad jokes all day while he's on the show. Like I think that would probably piss him off. That'd be good.
That would work. That would work pretty well. Yes. Oh, I also heard, this is a totally separate topic, but somebody told me on my chat to ask you about this because I did not know. I did a Gonzalo Lira theme, like in saying, is he alive or is he dead? Like what's going on with like Coach Red Pill? Because like I know a lot about like the background in his Manosphere days and all of this shit. So I was talking about that. But I heard that he came on your channel and was like not very well received. I did not know that.
I think it's still the worst reviewed or worst ratioed show on my channel.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That bad?
Yeah. They did not respond well to Coach Red Pill.
Wow.
Coming on, which I thought was a little bit much. But then also Coach Red Pill decided to start hating me after that show. So that was fun too. Because
of the ratio probably, or
no. So you know he did a Kickstarter for a book, right? Wilshire Boulevard.
No.
Yeah, Wilshire Boulevard, the Coach Red Pill book for $50, the low price of 50 smackaroos. You could get your digital edition of Wilshire Boulevard. For $100, you could get your physical copy, and for $150, the low introductory price of $150, you could get your signed Gonzo Lira copy of Wilshire Boulevard. And he sent me an advance copy, and asked me to review it, knowing that I was a literature and creative writing major. And so then he wanted to be on the show while I reviewed it. And so I talked about it
Live.
with him. Yep. And I kind of gave him some notes and stuff, some fine, stuff. I was talking about the good stuff that I thought in the book. It's a political thriller. It's contemporary. There's gassed furries, so that's pretty good. And it's very internety and fun, I guess, if that's what you're going for. And then and he's like, okay, well, give me your honest review of the whole thing. And I said, I don't really want to do that.
Mhm.
And he said, no, be 100% honest. And I said, okay.
Live.
And
On
yeah,
air.
and
Thousands
so
of people watching. You're gonna tell him the whole thing. It's like,
and he did not we did not discuss prior to the show the review, because I would have told him this stuff all in private, and it wasn't that bad of stuff. But I said your dialogue, especially your female dialogue, is shit. Frankly, like it's bad. It's really, really bad. You need an editor. You probably need a female consultant for their dialogue, because all of them just come across as blank canvas whores. Like every single one of them is vapid, and which I mean is kind of a Coach Red Pill theme, right?
Yeah.
So it makes sense. But I'm like, but it's not believable that every
Right.
character, even the heroine, is this vapid. Like, because
well, if that's how you view them, right? Because you're projecting your view onto them, and that's fine. If that's your view, that's fine. Like, you're allowed to have your views on people. That is what it is. But it's going to be horrible writing, because it's not going to be believable. Nobody's going to believe that.
Yeah, and like, okay, so you can do stuff, because like Ayn Rand did this all the time. She heavily caricaturized the antagonist characters. They were useless. They were lumps. They were vapid. And so that would have made sense, except like one of the main characters is a pseudo heroine of the book, and she's the same. I'm like, bro, she's supposed to be the better one. Like, that's supposed to be the ideal. And I think he may have even tried to write her as the ideal, but he just couldn't. Like, he could not manage that. And so she came across awful. And so I told him that, and I was like, what, you got the elements of the story here. You just really need to bone up on the interactions between the characters. You need an editor. He was not happy with my review of the book, which...
But you ask your opinion. And like I said, I tell people this all the time, Nick. I take the exact same philosophy. It's like, I warn them. I'm like, are you sure you want my opinion? You sure you want it? I did this live with somebody the other day, and I was like, with a conversation I didn't want to have. And I was like, and I'm not going to have again. And I was like, I'll tell you, because my policy is to be 100% honest. I'm not going to say something I wouldn't say, but you may not like it. And, it may upset people. And, it is what it is. If you're asking for my opinion, you're going to get my real opinion. So be prepared for that.
Yeah. And like I said, I was like, I really don't want to do that, because, like we're on good terms or whatever. This is a book. You did a hard thing. You wrote a novel. It's really fucking difficult. So I don't want to like just automatically shit on it. But so anyway,
writing sucks. Yeah, no, I got it. That's, that checks out. So I had two theories for him, which one was he's just straight up dead, which is the prevailing theory. And I think it's been more confirmed now. I think reports are coming out that are more confirming the dead theory. But my other theory was a Jack Murphy theory, was a grifter theory. And some of that sort of stuff goes along with the grifter theory. So, and that was, by the way, for a live. Like, this is all part of a thing, because he was writing a book, anti-narrative, on the coverage of the Russian, the coverage of the Russian side and the coverage of the war. And I was like, wouldn't that be the best thing for the war if you pretend to be disappeared and, show up and maybe you're beat up or whatever, who knows if you self-inflicted it or whatever. And then you've got this book to write. That'd be a hell of a thing, but it's looking more like he's dead.
Yeah, kind of does look like he's dead. And I'm not sure how to feel about that.
Well, I don't celebrate anybody's death. I don't think that's
something
anybody should be doing, but that being said, he was not smart. I mean, he'd been in Kharkov for, I talked about this with my good buddy Scott from Future Conflicts. I helped him he has a bunch of military guys that get together. I helped him get his channel off the ground. And they were kind of the same mind. If you're in Kharkov and you've been there for 2 or 3 years, the local sentiment, and you're staying in place, and you're speaking about these issues in countries without the First Amendment. We take the First Amendment for granted in America. We think, okay, we can say whatever you're going to say, but most countries don't have this. They will jail you at minimum, if not kill you. And this is unfortunately what happens when you try to exercise free speech in a country in a conflict where that is not recognized.
Dude, if the U.S. was being invaded by
Cuba, whatever,
by a comparable force to Russia,
sorry,
right?
Okay, Canada. Sorry,
I'm trying to think of one. I'm like
China. China.
Yeah, so like if China,
it's like Fallout. It's like the plot of Fallout.
Let's say China takes over Canada first,
Anchorage,
and then they invade from a land invasion force. Right, they're neighboring. We've got a border. It'd be very, I would be remiss to exercise my First Amendment rights in wartime against the country while you're being invaded. It is it is a
against America
practice.
So it's like if Chinese troops landed in Seattle and you're there in Portland as they're moving south, and you're like, really we need to think about the Chinese side of this. As people are on the front lines dying literally outside your window. Yeah, that's dumb. That's real dumb.
You can have those thoughts. It's and you should be able to say them, but it's very unwise during an invasion to support the invading country vocally and openly. You should flee the country and seek political asylum and then do it. That's the smarter move. That's how you manage that. And and if that's what you want to do, but you sitting there, oh yeah, I believe the Russians are right, while you're in Ukraine and Ukrainians are like, because even if you don't
frankly, I'm going to say one thing too, and if you haven't lived abroad, this is a thing. If you're there as a foreigner with a wife who's a local, there is an uncomfortability with the mixed race relation. We take that for granted. Everyone calls everybody racist in America, but if you go down and you're a mixed race couple, you don't even get a look in America. In any other country, you get looks. When I'm out there with my girlfriends here, and I walk down a street, they are always looking at me. People are staring, whatever, and that happens in a lot of other countries because it's just something that they don't really accept, and they're thinking, hey, this guy's coming here, he's taking our women, and he's literally simping for the enemy right now.
Even if you don't get clapped by the government, you could just get popped by some rando guy who knows who you are. Like, and he's broadcasting from the hotel where he's at. He's like, I'm at this hotel, whatever, swimming around. It's like, buddy, you're going to get a 9mm round through the back of your skull. Surprised it didn't happen on a live stream. I really, of course, hope, just because in general, like I don't want him to get killed or whatever. I hope he's okay, but
you're just putting together the facts. You're putting them together the facts. Like he said he was in threat. He said he was in trouble. He said, if I don't check in, it's a problem. People have been bragging. Some of the Azov and the Kraken Brigade folks have been bragging about it. It looks like he got. And in this social media era, for someone to disappear without a blip, without so much as a photo, what probably happened was they came in, they popped him, or somebody popped him on the street, maybe randomly, and threw him into a mass grave, which the Ukrainians have. They're just not showing, right? I mean, but both sides in this conflict have mass graves. These are things that pop up.
But imagine your breakout social media moment is getting fucking killed in Ukraine. Like, that's pretty shitty. I mean, like,
but Nick, that's sometimes how things happen. Like, people become famous like posthumously, and it's like you never want that to be you, but it always could be you, right? Like,
the main problem I have is that some people might actually listen to Coach Red Pill now. That'd be disastrous.
Yeah, and in his defense, because I listened to some of this stuff, the generic advice, like in some of his stuff that he was talking about, for example, he did have a fairly good point, and this is me just saying a couple things. He said a lot of generic points, but stuff like he mentioned one point on feminism really is something that benefits the corporations, not really the left or the right, but by lowering wages in the workforce, by bringing people into the workforce, by pushing, a segment of the workforce, 50% of the population into the workforce, into these jobs like lawyers, HR, right? That drops wages, which benefits corporations. So really, it's not a left-right issue. That's something he spoke about, which is true. But he also said a bunch of other crazy shit, which, just made him run, off the rails. And even a broken clock can be right twice a day, right?
I've got my fond memory of Coach Red Pill from Knoxville.
Oh God.
When we're there for the Andy Worski and Tonka fight that didn't happen. And we're at this bar one of the nights. This is back when everybody liked each other, before everybody had this stupid Spurg fights. And and we're all friendly. And Coach Red Pill is there, and some fan of his, right, comes up and he's like, "Oh man, Coach, it's great to meet you. You know, you look a little older in person than you do online." Coach Red Pill threw his drink on him and then got thrown out of the bar.
Threw his drink on him?
Yeah, he's like takes his drink and splashes it on the guy's face or whatever for daring to insult his age. I'm like, Coach, you're 20 years older than everybody else here at minimum. It's because you're 20 years older than me, and I'm the other oldest guy here.
You're number 2. Yeah.
Like, why are you fucking? This is a fan of yours. All he said was the truth. You look a little older in person than you do on your videos, because you see someone in the full resolution of life.
Lighting,
they look different. God, it was so funny that he got thrown out the bar. Like the last time I saw Coach Red Pill that
was
night
when he was thrown out of a bar.
Was him like, sad Charlie Brown walking out of the bar.
R.I.P. Gonzalo Lira. And yeah, anyways, my thing was everybody was running over to defend this guy, and I saw a lot of people, even other folks on Law 2 running over, and it's more complicated than that. And I think that, we can't just say, oh, well, Russia good because Russia anti-Ukraine and Ukraine bad and Ukraine supported by Hunter Biden. It's a little bit more complicated than that.
Yeah, I have no support for Coach Red Pill, but I do have a toast for CRP, who became RIP. Sincerely, condolences to his family, and may he rest in peace.
RIP.
And though I may make jokes and stuff, I process through levity, and I take no actual joy in his death. I really don't. And if he turned up tomorrow and popped up on Twitter somehow and was like, "That Nick Ricade is a piece of shit," I would say, "God, I'm glad you're alive, Coach." Like literally, I don't care. I don't hold any malice towards him.
However, if he started grifting immediately after that, I would do a stream with his face in the Jack Murphy beard.
Oh,
in 2 seconds. In 2 seconds, I would do that. That would be done. It would be up. It would be trending. It would be over. So yeah.
Yeah. Like and again, like what you'll find with most internet beefs that I have is I don't really have a beef with the other person. They have one with me, and I'm happy to reciprocate.
See, this is what I wanted to learn from you. Like, when do you pick an internet beef and when do you not? Because like it's sort of like you got to pick your battles, right? And like I guess you're saying they all come to you. They end up coming to you.
Like again, like Coach Red Pill and I were fine doing that the book thing and everything. He had gotten into a fight with Ethan Ralph and Andy Worski after Knoxville. They were going to do this big thing. They were going to do like some documentary and a road trip or whatever. It all fell apart. Business went, whatever. Coach had a whole lot to say that I never talked about with Ralph and Worski. Coach was actually right on this, that they shouldn't do the trip. That there should be some cooler heads in the room. And that trip was a disaster that Ralph and Worski did, but he wanted to make it this business venture and film it and make it into a thing and develop it. And it then he realized he was dealing with Ethan Ralph and Andy Worski, who were incapable of doing something like that. And like I said, that road trip was a disaster, but we were on good terms. I mean, I was just skimming through my emails with him, and I was like, "Hey man, I don't want to get into this because, I'm not part of that drama or whatever." And we were all fine until we did that stream, and I reluctantly trashed his book because I didn't mean, like, I didn't want to, but I also was in writers' workshops, and you got to give honest feedback when the person wants it.
Yep. Because there's too many people who just gas people up and say, "Oh my God, it's fantastic." I mean, that's way too common nowadays.
Yeah. And so then, he got mad at me, and that's how these things go. People get mad at me. Mad Black Atheist, the guy who threatened to shoot up my whole block, to have his homies from, I don't know, Chicago or something, come shoot up my whole neighborhood. That guy got mad at me. A parody account of me was making fun of him. I'm in Hawaii at the time. I'm at a convention in Hawaii having a good time. And like he starts going, people are like, "Dude, Mad Black is saying some crazy shit about you." And so I text him, I'm like, "Dude, that's not me. that's a parody account. The name is spelled wrong. And he's like, oh, well, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, there is no, oh, well, it's not me. And so then the parody account did something else and he lost his fucking mind. And then Ron Toye was supposed to be on his show and canceled on him. And then he got mad at me for that. And it's like, I'm in Hawaii. I'm not doing anything. And so then he started going crazy. And Drex and I had just had like a 6-hour show with him, and we had a lot of fun. Like the people get pissed at me, and I'm like, I'm not even, I'm so happy. I'm like the nicest person.
You really do allow anyone on here. I mean, case in point. I mean, you literally allow anybody in here. You're like, I mean, you don't really like look into the beefs or anything else. You just like,
I just like talking to people. Like, what the hell do I have to care about any of this stuff? And like people, then they get mad at me, and I'm like, bro, what are you mad about? Like the Ethan Ralph thing. He farted on a live stream. Someone super chats it to me that, did you see his shart on the live stream? I was like, no. So we watched it. I'm like, well, but it's a 24-hour stream. You're going to fart. I'm farting right now. Kind of gross, but whatever. Loses his fucking mind.
He lost his mind over one fart.
Yeah. He had a meltdown on the next show, goes off for like 20 minutes talking about how he could shit all over himself and make money. I'm like, okay, go for it. And then since then he's been pissed off. Still, it's always like this. I don't like, I don't know. I'm just me. I just have conversations and smile and laugh. And, well, occasionally I call just some guy a communist because he was, and he didn't know it.
And you call some people groomers. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's okay. It's literally fine.
But it's like, he didn't know he was a communist. That was his fault. I just educated him and he got really mad about it. But it's like, it's okay if you're a communist. Just, it's what you believe. Like you believe that there should be a state controlled economy during a pandemic. I disagree. I think capitalism wins, but you be a commie. That's fine. So it's not communist. Kind of is. But anyway, so that's how my fights start. Right. Mm-hmm. Like, no, people are uncomfortable with honesty.
And yeah, for sure. They just, don't know how to take it. Sometimes you got to just take the freaking joke, you can't take it too seriously. You got to just let it roll off you, man. If you take this stuff too seriously, you're going to go insane.
And you just make fun of the person back and then laugh about it like guys used to do.
That's good content. Yeah, it's not only funny, and exactly it's like guys used to do. You bust each other's balls. My friends are my friends, especially my friends from when I'm younger. They're the ones who bust my balls the hardest.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Drex and I make fun of each other constantly because I mean that's
because you're a manlet compared to Drex. I mean, come on.
Oh, it's pathetic.
Yeah.
Like I intentionally shrink my doorways to make it harder for him to get in my house.
Right.
Fucking, and I don't mean height wise. I mean width wise, because his shoulders are like this fucking wide. That's stupid. What is wrong with you? Get a normal human physique.
He's like that guy from Into the Spider-Verse, just the fucking giant triangle.
It's so dumb. Like, I know that people have seen, like, sometimes when the angle on the camera is just right, that his head is like this big and his shoulders are like out of the frame. That's just, I mean, he's just that stupid looking. Like, it's just that big. It's like, Jesus, what? Why? How? What did you do? Like, what genetic lottery did you win? But that's it. But yeah, you just break people's balls and have a good time, and that's how it's supposed to be. But that's gone now. Like everybody's so sensitive, and I think social media makes it worse because everybody's got this persona to cultivate or whatever.
But because you've got this image, and when you break the image, it's like, well, no, that's authenticity. There's a difference between like cultivating an image that's one thing and being authentic. And I think when you really resonate with people is when you're authentic. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I think a lot of people enjoy you, because you can have fun, you can be here, but you have very serious moments where you really tune in and you are very serious and you are getting into topics and you are going deep on topics, which I think people like. And I like that too. I try to balance that, and I try to learn from people like you and others that are really good at authenticity. And like Joe Rogan, for example, people like him because he's authentic and because he's relatable, right?
And that's the trick. The other thing is when you see a lot of burnout from creators, that's why, like, because it's hard to project something all the time, and they'll do all this stuff. And so and whenever anybody's like, how do you not burn out or whatever, it's like, well, I kind of do from time to time. You'll probably notice occasionally, but most of the time it's Just don't have a fake thing to do. Like don't reduce the amount of work that you're doing, and just be who you are. And
yeah, there are. Yeah, you're exactly right. That's at the core of it, right? That's the core. And then you have stuff like, hey, are you streaming like 7 days a week? Because even for me, I try to stream during the weekdays and take the weekend off, do my own thing. I think if I didn't do that, I would probably burn out. Like, and I know folks that try to stream 7 days a week to get it going. And I'm like, no, the point is like anything else, like working out, like eating healthy, like business, you build it over time with consistency, with being consistent over time.
Yeah. And if you want to get into like the stupid streaming schedule that I do, you have to get acclimated to it. Like
I was going to say, Nick, I do those like once. I do one stream with Drex where we talk for 6 hours, and I like need to just take an entire extra day off because I'm just like wiped.
But you gotta build into it. You can't just, oh, I'm gonna just do this. It doesn't work that way. Like you have to get acclimated to this stuff. And I wasn't doing this many streams 4 years ago. You gotta get in there. You gotta build into that and find things. If people want to start off like that, you're gonna kill yourself. It's gonna be way too much, way too rough. Yeah. But okay, all right. Let's talk Elon Musk. Let's do this. Let me pull up this article that I've got from Tech Dirt because I think that'll be good.
The dirtiest.
Here we go. Well, I have this other one. This is from Yahoo News first because this blew my mind. I tweeted this out the other day. I didn't tweet the others because trade secrets or whatever. But here, let's take a look at this shit. This drove me absolutely fucking bonkers. Oh, so God. The amount of data Elon Musk would have access to if he privatized Twitter cannot be compared to anything that has ever existed. Report. Except Twitter. Like it does already exist. Right? It's already there. Like that's how he would get it. It's because it's there. But now it's a problem because it's Elon Musk, right? Like this is the issue. So their issue is that researchers said that one person controlling Twitter would be incompatible with democracy. Right, because 7 people controlling Twitter is fucking compatible.
It's so much better. And this, the dictate of Jack Dorsey coming down before was so much better.
Yeah. Or Mark Zuckerberg running Facebook. Like that's all fine because reasons. Unregulated data collection means the social media industry holds sway over real world events. No fucking kidding. We've been screaming this for years. And when they're like, well, why is it a big deal if you get banned? Because of that. That's the one reason, because it holds sway over real world events. And if you can ban participants from that conversation, then you can control the real world events in real time by just eliminating the counter narrative.
Yep.
This is a disaster. And it's not only about Elon Musk, but he kind of puts it on steroids. She said, oh,
okay. How dare you assume Elon's gender?
Spurned concern among privacy experts and social media researchers. Where the fuck have you been? I didn't need to research shit. I've been saying this is a problem forever. Like they control the narrative. The number one news distribution site in the world is Facebook. That's where the overwhelming majority of people, and it's not even close. Like consumption of news, something like the last stat I saw was like 80% of news story clicks come from a Facebook link.
That's insane.
It's unreal. And so imagine if Facebook just subtly removes everything but CNN, NBC, CBS, or whatever, right? Like, however they just, or imagine
the AP, the AP approved. It's got to be AP approved, just like with the CDC stuff, just like with the election stuff. It's all got to be approved. If it's not the approved narrative, by the powers that be, it's out. It's not imagined. It's what it happened to us, Ricada. It just happened in a limited context. It was like a test run.
Yeah, and it's gonna get worse. And I was saying this back in 2020, fucking 2018, 2020, is that eventually they're going to just ban a candidate. Like Twitter is just going to ban a candidate, and it's going to take, but I don't think they'll ban an incumbent, right? Like they banned Trump They
At
banned
the
Trump.
end, when they knew he was on the way out, that was like the biggest
Yes.
beta bitch move they could have possibly done, was to ban him on the way out. It's like, okay, you know, you can't hurt us anymore, Trump, we think. So we're going to ban you.
Right. That was the thing. But I'm talking during the heart of election season, sometime around like September, they're going to ban a candidate. It's not going to be an incumbent. There's going to be a big stink. And then it's going to happen again. It'll take a little time and they'll normalize it, but then they'll ban the incumbents that they disagree with. And that's when that's when the incumbents will notice and they'll have a problem with it. And I think it'll be too late at that point.
No, because it's too late. They've already controlled the narrative. They've already won at that point. And I love it because it's like, okay, Elon gets Twitter. You've still got Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, MSNBC, TikTok, CNN, the New York Times, every other, Snopes, all the fact-checking organizations, all the other media, right? It'd be one thing, literally just one thing.
Yeah. It's crazy. So the former professor and author of The Age of Surveillance Capitalism, fuck off.
What? Okay, I'm Googling that name.
Shoshana Zuboff. Are you going to pull her up?
Yeah, I'm pulling her up right now.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Can you share it?
Oh God. Okay, yeah, I can share this real quick. Oh my God, Nick, this is it's bad. It's real bad. Oh no. Shoshana. Oh no.
This here is your digital age expert, ladies and gentlemen.
No. Oh my gosh. This is it.
That's the former professor and the author, Shoshana Zuboff.
Yes, that is like straight out of Yugoslavia. Like, we're talking Tito days. That is just so bad.
How old was that picture?
I don't.
That picture had to be from 1987.
That's her style. All the photos she dresses in that style. I'm not kidding you. All the photos of that style.
So she said huge ad revenue and unregulated data collection about user behavior have changed the social media industry, which now holds incredible sway over world events. Where have you been? Now? It's been this way for a decade. It's getting worse. Because content on social media platforms can influence public opinion. Oh, wait, I don't have this pulled up. And lead to changed behaviors, she said, the people in control of sites hold a tremendous amount of power. Putting that power in the hands of a single person, she said, would be incompatible with democracy. There is simply no checks and balances from any internal or external force. There isn't from Twitter either. Mm-hmm. Are you saying the shareholders have some sort of
check and balance? Power? Hell no, they don't.
Like the shareholders could, in theory, fire the CEO or elect a new board. In theory, but we're talking about they're making money. they don't give a shit about this. Should Musk take ownership of Twitter, the Tesla CEO would have near complete control over an amount of user data that cannot be compared to anything that has ever existed. Well, I mean, except for Twitter,
Google, Facebook, like that. Those other organizations that have that data.
And allows intervention into the integrity of individual behavior and also the integrity of collective behavior, Zuboff said. This is a disaster, and it's not only about Elon Musk, but he kind of puts it on steroids. Okay, yeah, no, I'm now more for Elon Musk doing this than ever. If that's what it's going to take to get them to realize the destructive nature of social media and why they should not have the power to ban and censor. Why they should not have that power. But of course, that's not the route they're going to go.
Hold on, Nick. Right now, Me Poo is number 2. Oh, it just dropped out. It was number 2 at 9,000. Oh, man.
And it dropped?
It dropped off. They dropped it off again.
Fuck.
Sorry, it keeps flickering back up. I just gotta give credit where credit is due to the people, really.
It's amazing.
Wait, no, it's still trending. Hold on, let me show you real quick.
Here,
right now.
I'll check my tab too.
Yeah, you share it. I'll share this while you're doing that. Sure. Right here. This is trending in actors. Amber Turd trending in actors. Me Poo.
Shit, I don't.
Right here.
Here, let's see.
just keeping an eye
Amazing.
on it. You got to make sure, you got to watch the stinkers, right? So guys, I mean, you can always
There it
come
is,
out
yeah.
there and retweet it, send out a tweet. I had my tweet last night. There's plenty of tweets out there. Keep it going, guys. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, me poo. There it is. There it is. That's amazing.
Thank you, chat. You guys make this happen.
Yeah.
You guys make this happen.
Every time the chat's responsible. Okay, let me pull up. Oh shit, I had Twitter up. I should have just kept it because that's where my news story is. So anyway, this is where my frustration started with all of this.
Okay.
Because
the other one was like, okay, but not.
Well, that's
pure
new.
Anger. Yeah.
That's new. But this is the. Here we go. Elon Musk demonstrates how little he understands about content moderation. From the Not How Any of This Works department, from Mike Masnick. All right. And this is, this is how he talks. Lots of talk yesterday as Elon Musk made a hostile takeover bid for all of Twitter. This was always a possibility and one that we discussed before in looking at how little Musk seemed to understand about free speech. That's the other article I have. But soon after the bid was made public, Musk went on stage at TED to be interviewed by Chris Anderson and spoke more about his thoughts on Twitter and content moderation. It's worth watching, though, mostly for how it shows how very, very little Musk understands about all of this. Indeed, what struck me about his views is how much they sound like what the techies who originally created social media said in their early days. And here's the important bit. All of them eventually learned that their simplistic belief in how things work does not work in reality and have spent the past few decades trying to iterate. And Musk ignores all of that while somewhat hilariously suggesting that all of those things can be figured out eventually, despite all the hard work many, many overworked and underpaid people have been doing figuring exactly that out, only to be told by Musk he's sure they're doing it wrong. So this is, of course, a typical fallacy, right? Like, well, a bunch of smart people are working on this, so no one could figure it out. No one else could figure out how to make it work, ignoring the fact that the smart people working on it may not want to make it work.
Right.
They may have no desire and they have no incentive to make it work. But if Elon Musk bought Twitter and turned it into an actual free speech,
true free speech, like up to Brandenburg free speech,
right? With open source rules and algorithms that could be verified by the public, as he's talked about, if he did that, it may actually increase the value of Twitter. It may drive people. It might stifle the competition. Like Gab might not want Twitter to do that.
Yeah, Gab would be RIP at that point.
Right, because if Twitter wasn't a piece of shit, there wouldn't need to be anything else. I mean, people might still use Gab or Getter or whatever. They might still use that, but
why? Getter came out there and said they're more restrictive than free speech. They came out there and said they, because of our favorite cat boy, that famous, Tim Pool interview where he just got kind of roasted there, for banning Nick Fuentes. Yeah. I mean, and they've said, hey, we're going more strict than the requirements of free speech. So I think all these other platforms go away because you have to be right. I mean, as a product, you have to be first to market, best to market or cheapest, and cost is not really a thing here. So it's either first or best. Twitter's already first. If it can also be best, it's over. I mean, you've got it. It's done.
Yeah, it's guys. There are a bunch of super chats I've got, but I'm want to talk to Legal Mindset about this subject, and then I'll get into them for sure. But this whole idea, the reality is Twitter is the best distribution model for anybody trying to do anything productive with social media. It just, there's more people on Twitter and you get more interaction on Twitter. Yeah. And I know there are other people
and you find your people quickly. You find your community, you find the people that you resonate with very, very quickly. Like you get in that circle and that's for better, for worse, but that does allow you to reach an audience faster.
Yeah. And I know there are people who do great on alternative platforms, right? Like talking YouTube versus Rumble and Odyssey, for example. Salty Cracker does huge live streams on Rumble and Odyssey, and that's fantastic. But he could probably, were he not like banned or demonetized or whatever, do bigger on YouTube. You just probably could. There's just more people on there. And if YouTube had the same sort of policies that Rumble and Odyssey did, then they would dominate, and you would dominate on them in the same way. Theoretically, at least, that's how that would work. If you're doing well on one and the other one has the same model, just more people, you would logically do better on the other. That's how it goes. But I mean, I know there's a bunch of stuff built into it, like rebellion against big tech or big media and all that stuff. But that aside, like if they became equivalent to the alternatives in policy, people would just generally flock to him. And I think there'd be real trouble for the competitors, but that's not bad for the consumer. That's bad for the competitors. And
exactly,
frankly, that's the risk of business.
It's bad for the corporations. I mean, it's bad for those other corporations, bad for those other businesses that want to have their own market share. But guess what? Then you've just got to innovate. You've just got to become better. I mean, I'm sorry. And that's the whole point of capitalism. That's the whole point of having a free market is, hey, get good, scrub. I mean, you've got to create a good product. Like if you want to have something better than Twitter, create something better than Twitter. We need to go back to innovation and away from, hey, let's just take something that works and make it woke.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm saying that with all courtesy and respect to Salty Cracker. I know a lot of Salty fans are in the chat and stuff. I'm complimenting him, and I'm saying that if YouTube had not been a bitch to him, he could probably have an even bigger reach, an even bigger channel and stuff here. But he's killing it on the alternatives, and that's great. Love to see his success. So, but anyway, here we go. Because these posts tend to attract very, very angry people. This is always a thing. Well, I know people are going to be angry, and they're very, very sure of themselves on this topic that they have no experience with. I'm the authority, Andrew. I hope you know that. I'd ask that before any of you scream in the comments, please read all of Professor Kate Klonick's seminal paper on the history of content moderation and free speech called The New Governors. It is difficult to take seriously anyone on this topic who is not aware of the history. Of course, you can't look. This is the academic barrier that is used by predominantly the left in specifically in social justice issues. Right. Create a new lexicon and create a barrier to entry to the conversation. Kick people out of the conversation. I noticed it with the LGBTQ shit. The first time I saw cis, and I was like, what the fuck is cis anything? I've never heard this term before. And they're like, you don't know? How can you have an opinion on abortion if you don't know what cis means? I'm like, oh, okay. Fuck you. That's retarded. Yeah.
It's to create an in-group and an out-group. That's something that's been used. And it's used to do the bigoted things that they say they're against. It's to create those things because they know them. And they're like, oh, let's use them. Let's use these tools. Right. But it's okay because they're using them. Right. It's okay to do it because they're doing it.
Right. Just for fun, let's go through what Musk said. Anderson asked Musk why he wants to buy Twitter, and Elon responds, well, I think it's really important for there to be an inclusive arena for free speech. Twitter has become the de facto town square, so it's really important that people have both the reality and the perception that they're able to speak freely within the bounds of the law. And one of the things I believe Twitter should do is open source the algorithm and make any changes to people's tweets. If they're emphasized or de-emphasized, that should be made apparent so anyone can see that action has been taken. So there's no sort of behind the scenes manipulation, either algorithmically or manually. Yeah, exactly. Transparency is how moderation should be done, in my opinion. It just should. There should be clear rules. And when those rules are implemented, it should be obvious why those rules were implemented. Right. So first, again, this is the same sort of thing that early Twitter and Facebook and other platform people said in the early days. Gee, I wonder why. It's good principles. And then they found that it doesn't work for reasons that will be discussed shortly. Second, Twitter is not the town square, and that's a ridiculous analogy. The internet itself is a town square. Wrong, idiot. The internet is the town.
Yes.
The internet is the town. Twitter is just one private shop in that town square with its own rules. It isn't, though. It's not like a private shop. It's like a town square. It's like a park. It's like something else.
It's made itself into that. That's its model. It shows that. It shows that for itself.
That's how it's branded. That's how it's sold. That's how it's promoted. That's why it's free. That's why anybody can join at any time, is that it's supposed to be the town square. That was the ideal. You just said that was the idealistic goal of Twitter and Facebook right here. They made that. They made that. It is the town square.
It'd be funny if that was your, by the way, it would be funny if that was your real voice all along. That yeah voice.
It is. This is just an imitation of someone else. I actually thought, like, Anderson asks Musk why he wants to take over Twitter when Musk had apparently told him just last week that taking over the company would lead to everyone blaming him for everything that went wrong. And Musk responds that things will still go wrong and you have to expect that. And he's correct. But what's notable here is how he's asking for a level of understanding that he refuses to provide Twitter itself. Twitter has spent 15 years experimenting and iterating its policies to deal with a variety of incredibly complex and difficult challenges, nuances, and trade-offs. And as Musk demonstrates later in this interview, he's not even begun to think through any of them. Quote, my strong intuitive sense is that having a public platform that is maximally trusted and broadly inclusive is extremely important to the future of civilization. Yes, it is, because mass communication is here. So now we need to have it open. That's because humans communicating openly is how it's supposed to be. That's right. That's how good ideas get fleshed out. That's how bad ideas get flushed away. But this is an argument to antiquity fallacy, right? Like, well, they've been doing it for 15 years. Therefore, it's better.
Therefore, no. It's like, well, that was also how you justified slavery. So do you really want to go there, guys? Really going to do that?
This is the same sort of thing the founders of these websites said until they had to deal with the actual challenges of running such platforms at scale. And I should note, anyone who's spent any time at all working on these issues knows that maximally trusted requires some level of moderation. And listen, here's the false equivalence, because otherwise platforms fill up with spam and scams, more on that later, and are not trusted at all. There's a reason these efforts are put under the banner of trust and safety. Finally, the public platform is the internet, and trust is earned, but opening up a platform broadly does not inspire trust. Being broadly inclusive and trustworthy also requires recognizing that bad actors need to be dealt with in some form or another. This is what people have spent over a decade working on, and Musk asks like it's a brand new issue. But see, they're talking, what we'll get to is he's talking about child pornography here.
Okay, so they're beating around the bush. That's what they're really concerned about is CP? No,
that's the false equivalence. Bad actors are CP and also trolls. Right? Like it's like, well, you have to have some content moderation because otherwise people will post child pornography. Therefore, we need to restrict speech on certain political opinions.
It's like, that's too far of a jump. And also it's not the political opinions you're censoring. They're the ones that are promoting the cheese pizza, but that's that's a whole separate discussion.
But it's like, P equals Q, P therefore F, right? Like that's what they've done here. Let's see. You've described,
and that's not protected speech, right? Once again, if we're going to the First Amendment, like it's clear what is protected and what's not protected. And the stuff you're mentioning is just clearly unprotected speech. So,
right. And Chris Anderson says you've described yourself as a free speech absolutist. Does that mean that there's literally nothing that people can't say and it's okay? He's like, well, I think obviously Twitter or any other form is bound by the laws of the country it operates in. Which is the simplest answer. There are laws about speech that people have been working on a lot longer than 15 years. A lot longer than 15 years. So obviously there's some limitations on free speech in the US. And of course, Twitter would have to abide by those rules. I'll take it. No child porn.
And globally, because certain countries ban certain terms, talking about certain things. So you'd have to go around and do that. That would be a lot of work. However, it's very possible to do.
Yeah, well, and I feel like a company the size of Twitter could implement AI that would moderate that you could plug in a list of verboten topics, and then Chinese consumers would just not get those, I guess, or something.
Yeah,
and they could just use NordVPN and get around it. Right?
Do you have a sponsorship from NordVPN?
No.
Okay.
No, those motherfuckers. Give me money, Nord. What the hell?
I mean, literally simping for them right now. I use Viper. Right. I mean, that's mine, but hey.
So you can't incite people to violence, like direct incitement to violence. Like you can't do the equivalent of crying fire in a movie theater. Fuck.
That's the one they always use, Nick. They always go to that.
Every time. You can't.
Every time.
Go cry fire in a movie theater when it's appropriate. Like go into a movie theater and yell fire if there's a fire. There you go. You can.
Well, if you think there's a fire, if it's reasonable belief there is a fire, then yeah, that's the appropriate time to do it.
Or if you're quoting that Phil Collins song, you're like, fire! I don't know if that's Phil Collins, but you just do that. Do it. No, that would be a crime, Laughs. It should be a crime. No, actually, no. This is not a crime. You need to stop there. I'm pretty sure there is not a single state on the book or that has a law in the books that says you can't yell fire in a crowded in a movie theater, crowded or otherwise. Despite it being the most commonly cited criminal speech act, there's no criminal act laying this out. It's all resultant based, right? Like, so if someone gets trampled to death, then you might have a problem.
Yeah, if then.
And all free speech experts scream out in unison at the false notion of fire in a crowded theater. Exactly. Yes, they do. But just the fact that Musk agrees with this sentiment and thinks that it would obviously be a crime shows how little he understands about free speech or the laws governing free speech. No, this is just a misnomer, and he's agreeing to this part also. And this part is there, but also direct incitement to violence is really hard to do online, frankly. It can be done, though. As a reminder for those who don't know, fire in a crowd theater was non-binding rhetorical aside in a case that was used to lock up a protester for handing out anti-war literature, and the Supreme Court justice used it. Yeah, basically denounced it. Okay, good. He tries to get in some nuance of content moderation. Be nice if he'd actually spoken to, well, anyone with any experience, because his examples are just laughable. They're kind of pathetic. Here's a challenge. Because it's such a nuance between different things, there's incitement to violence. That's no if it's illegal. There's hate speech, which some forms of hate speech are fine. I hate spinach. No, all forms of hate speech are fine. All of them. Literally all of them.
Of everybody.
Yeah. Here's where Anderson and Elon could have confronted the actual issue, which is that in the U.S., hate speech is entirely protected in the First Amendment. We've explained why this is actually important and good thing. Oh, hey, I like this. I'm agreeing with this guy. What the hell?
What?
Because in places where hate speech is against the law, those laws are frequently abused, silence government critics. But keeping hate speech legal is very different from saying that any private website must keep that speech on the platform. And you lost me. I'm with you, and you lost me right there. No, Elon is saying it should be congruent with the laws of the United States. And that's a fine thing to have. It's okay to have hate speech on the platform. It is.
Right. Right. It's okay. And guess what? Like everybody says, the best thing the best disinfectant is the light of day, is getting that out there. I mean, people are not going to gravitate towards that hate speech. They're going to be like, we don't want to associate with these people. They're not going to go over. They're going to shame those people. They're going to mock those people. And guess what? The mocking of those people is also free speech. So when those people are buried in people mocking them, making fun of them, all that, that's free speech too. Trolling, free speech, all of this free speech. And the weight of free speech, they will be crushed under the weight of free speech, but not under the weight of the government's jackboot. I mean, there's two different ways to do this. And there's a tyrannical way, and there's the way of the people. The people will reject that. People will not take up with that.
Yep. Anderson Weekly sort of goes after it. Okay, whatever. Here we go. Let's see what he says. So let's say here's one tweet. I hate politician X. Next tweet is I wish politician X wasn't alive, as some of us have said about Putin right now, for example. So that's legitimate speech. Another tweet is I wish politician X wasn't alive, with a picture of their head with a gun sight over it. That's fine, actually. Or that plus their address. Also fine, by the way. Not recommended, maybe unethical or an immoral sort of comment.
And certainly all of these comments to put out there in nowadays are going to get you at a minimum fired. I mean, here's the thing. It can be free speech, but you see the ramifications, whether it's in a school, whether it's in a workplace. I mean, they don't even need as much to fire you nowadays. So yeah, you're not going to get up to the lines of free speech on that.
It says, I mean, at some point, someone has to make a decision as to which of those is not okay. Can an algorithm do that? Or surely you need human judgment at some point. He says, first of all, broadly speaking, all those above are protected under the First Amendment. Somewhat incredibly, his final hypothetical is one I can talk about directly because I was an expert witness in a case where one guy was facing criminal charges for literally photoshopping gun sites over government officials, and the jury found him not guilty. Good. But also, broadly speaking, there are plenty of legitimate reasons why a private platform would not want to host that content. I'm sorry, when you become the public square, and this is the part that this guy is ignoring. When you become the public square, you take on certain benefits of the public square.
Yes.
And that relieves you of the burdens of not being the public square. You don't have to worry. If your policy is we host all the content that's not illegal, advertise, and you're the biggest dog in the shed, advertisers will still come to you.
Right.
They're going to. because you're the biggest dog in the shed, and they are going to go where distribution is maximized.
Right.
Because that's what they want. Because most people, even though they won't admit it, will take a Nazi's money and they'll take a Jew's money at the same time. And they're just fine.
And they'll still advertise on Times Square if there's a sex shop on the street corner, right? I mean, because it's Times Square, because it's an area that's just got the exposure, it's got the angle, it's somewhere that's a good place to put your ad. And they're still going to do that. They're 100% going to do that if they assert themselves as that. And it's an easier way to think of if you think of public infrastructure, right? If you put yourself out there as an airline or a bus or a hotel, you're subject to certain public accommodations, public transit rules, right? But you're also getting protections, right? You're getting protections, but you're also getting rules. That's the whole thing. It's a give and a take.
Yeah. And that's Twitter, frankly, like if the privatization of Twitter doesn't work with Elon, but what they're really scared about is that Elon Musk will implement his own censorship, right? Like and he'll censor them.
He thinks there's going to be revenge. But no, I know exactly why. Here's why, Nick, because their petty asses would do it if it was them.
Yes.
That's why. It's projection. They're afraid of the revenge because they know if their little petty small world, they would enact revenge. I don't think Elon cares about that. I don't think Elon's thinking about that. I think Elon is in 2052 right now. He's not thinking about this at all. He's just trying to develop something that he thinks is cool. I really don't think he's thinking about that.
Elon is thinking when he's been digitized and is immortal. Like that's literally like he's already there working backwards. So he's like, how do I get myself to immortality? And then I'll work backwards. And then I'll probably have to build society into acceptance of immortality digitally. Here's how I have to do it. I'm going to have to do all these things. And on the way,
space, neural network, electronic everything. And we got to have speech too, right? Because if you're going to upload something into your brain through the neural net, it's got to be open source. If someone else is controlling that, that's going to be no bueno, right? You've got to have the algorithm.
And it's also just data. Like the amount of data, aimless data that is collected on Twitter by the second is monumental. And it doesn't necessarily say anything about any particular person. I mean, it can, but it says a lot about people. And so if you want to generate effective AI, if you want to generate simulacrums of people, in fact, there was a great Black Mirror episode where basically
I love Black Mirror.
They created that android of the guy and used his Facebook and emails to generate like the persona
that the woman could date and the woman could see even after he died. Yeah, that was good.
Right. Like, and that's honestly a possibility. Like, and the more data you have about not only that person's interactions, but how everybody interacts will help sculpt that out, because it has to know how to react to things. What did they like? What did they click on? And so if Musk is thinking as far ahead as he seems to be thinking, then all of this makes sense to acquire, and not for a nefarious purpose of controlling an election here or there, which is what they want to do because they're stuck in now. he's way ahead, and he's thinking, I want to build crazy future land that we all heard about in sci-fi movies that was supposed to come in like 1996 and didn't.
And we're way behind. We're way behind right now.
Yeah, he's like, fuck, I don't even have a flying car yet or a hoverboard. But
exactly, at a minimum.
But they're stuck here. They want to control the now. They want to control narratives. They want to control people, and that's what scares them.
Absolutely.
And I just like it. Just I just hate this shit because you don't understand why we have to have moderation. And then he keeps going back to because the private company would choose to have it. It's like, but if Elon Musk buys it, then he doesn't have to do that. Like the choose not to is the answer.
And he will be A-okay in the eyes of the law. The problem is they don't understand the law. They don't understand the First Amendment. They don't understand the Constitution. And this is why, we have a space here on YouTube and LawTube to actually educate people to law-splain the internet, as you say, or my channel, I say, be your own judge, to let people look at the Constitution for what it is and the great freedoms it provides. It's unique. It's great. It's amazing. And if we can just live within those parameters, which were so ingenious hundreds of years ago, all of our lives will be better. But we've gotten way, way, way far away from that. In 2022.
And the other thing is, you said something that I was thinking of, and now I'm blanking on it. So I'll probably
the Constitution.
I guess, but it's just You said that, we're here to educate people on speech and all of that stuff,
Oh
which
yeah,
I
educate
agree
people
with.
educate people who are trying to learn about the Constitution, trying to learn about what free speech is, because
Oh,
people don't understand. Fundamentally, they don't understand.
yes, and that's the trick, is that while free speech under the Constitution is only binding on government, the principles of free speech are principles that are valuable outside of that context. And
Yes.
we've lost that because we go, well, the First Amendment only applies to the government. It's like, yeah, but the ideas behind it were good. And so those ideas, they may not be binding on society, but they are a good. They are a good that we could have in society if we choose to engage that. If we choose to engage this open, free speech sort of communication, let people say what they want to say. The good ideas will win, the bad ideas will lose. And that's how it's designed to be.
And these were
And
meant to be cultural principles, right? I mean,
right.
once again, they're trying to destroy American culture. These were things that were meant to be things that we all believed in. We united in American culture. We had these beliefs in the Constitution. We can all get together no matter what race we were, no matter what religion we were, no matter where we're from, no matter what we believed in, who fucked who in the past. Doesn't matter. We all believe in these principles. We fought for these principles. Our ancestors died for these principles. And that's what made us Americans. That's what made us great. And it's something that can't only exist in the government. It has to exist in every individual in this country.
Exactly. And remembering that when they put these policies into government language, into a government document, they didn't exist in a government document. They existed in philosophy, in political philosophy before that. And they went, these are good ideas. We like these ideas, these principles. These principles will make a good society. So here's what we're going to implement. And we can only restrict government, but we like the idea. And the people who are voting on this agreed with the ideas behind them. I did see someone in the chat say, except for Lyra, apparently. No, you're probably trolling, but if you somehow misunderstood this, I believe he should have been able to say whatever he wanted to say. I believe you should be able to speak negatively about the country you're in while it's being invaded. I just think it's unwise to do so because though you should in principle be able to do this, countries turn into tyrants when they're being invaded, especially. They turn into double tyrants.
And Lyra was not in the United States. He was an American, but he was not in the United States. And he was in a country where he lived for 3 years and knew better. I mean, that's the thing. He did know better. He put himself in a really risky situation. Nobody wishes it on him, but he took a huge risk. And he knew it. He actually, his post revealed that he knew that he was at risk.
Yeah. And I mean, maybe you want to be a martyr. Like I prefer to keep talking rather than die and have my words
needlessly, right? I mean, like without taking a needless risk. If you want to say that, there are places on this earth that will protect your right to say that, right? One of them, which is America, right? You're sitting in America, nothing is going to happen to you if you say that. The worst that's going to happen to you is you get your Twitter removed or your social media removed. That's the worst that's going to happen.
Yep, I agree.
But on that note, I thought I was going to bounce 30 minutes ago. Actually, I was going to bounce 45 minutes ago, but I just keep the conversation rolling. But Nick, I appreciate it. And I am almost at 3,000 subs. I'm like 900 away. So
30,
guys,
almost at 30,000.
30,000 subs. Sorry, 30,000. Yeah. It was like 30,000 before Rittenhouse. It's 30,000 now.
Guys,
get me there, baby.
Legal Mindset. His channel is in the description. You got to listen to this guy. Great shows, fun shows, good education, good comedy. Check him out. Click on his name. Go check out his channel. Give him a subscribe, and have a good time. Have a good time.
I appreciate it, and I will see you guys around for more of the Amber Heard case. And anytime Nick drafts me into the Army, also I think I'll be on Flashcast this weekend. So
and I won't be there.
I'll be replacement Nick. I just put like Legal Mindset / discount Nick.
I'm gonna try. I'm at a Make-A-Wish charity auction that night. So I'm gonna try after the auction to pop in when I get back to the hotel. Awesome. So I think it ends around 9 or something. So it's not like a super late event. So I'm gonna try and pop in and at least say hi for a little bit, but I have no guarantees.
Okay, cool. See you around.
All right, brother. There we go. Legal Mindset is out of here. He is out of here. Nick is the Make-A-Wish kid. No, but we try to, we buy stuff at the auction, and we also, as a family, my wife and kids, we tried to pick a wish to help make come true for a family each year. So that's part of the things that one of the things that we do for Christmas. We want to One of the things my wife and I feel is that we have been extremely fortunate and extremely blessed in our lives at certain times, now being one of those times in particular. But we've always been able to get by, and we know that not everybody has the same fortune, right? And so we try and support other people when we can, but most importantly, we want to instill that as a value in our children to help other people, with what they're blessed with. Our kids have way too much. And so we help them share that a little bit with some other people. That's part of our lessons that we try and instill that, you don't get in public school, at least. But anyways, that's what we do. But yeah, we'll be at the Make-A-Wish thing Saturday. And so if anybody's in Minnesota is going to be at Make-A-Wish ball, find me. I'll be there. And I'll be in a suit and it'll be great. But otherwise I will try and be on Flashcast afterwards for a little bit. But Tatered Tot says, how far back is the Depp recap? I'm about to do it right now. Briefly, very brief Depp recap that we've got going on. So today was the second day of testimony for Johnny Depp on direct examination. He had about 3 hours yesterday, and he had basically the full day on direct today, other than the last 15 minutes. So it comes out to about 7 hours. So he topped out around 10 hours of direct examination, a little bit shorter than that, I think. But my math isn't great and it doesn't really matter. But which was shorter than I thought he would go. I thought he would have 3 to 4 days of direct based on how slow it was going and how many incidents they were. But they really moved it along today. And they got some really good stuff in. They got stuff in about, they got some audio of Amber Heard being a colossal bitch to Johnny Depp, admitting to hitting him, admitting well, she took umbrage with the word punching and said he was being a pussy and that she was hitting him. Or no, she didn't say pussy. She said baby. You're being a baby. I just hit you. I didn't punch you. Stuff like that. So now they have laid out this foundation with Amber Heard's own words that she is participating and instigating, throwing pots and pans as well. She's participating, instigating, and elevating the conflicts that are going on in the household. It's kind of hard to be a victim of domestic abuse if the only documented actions of violence come from you. But even if they get actions of violence from Johnny Depp, like he slaps her at some point, maybe I think something like that's going to be testified to. Even if that happens, it's hard to be a victim of domestic abuse when you are at worst as abusive, if not more so. And I think that's going to be a hard one for the jury to swallow. Say, was she really abused? I mean, he slapped her the one time, but she punched him 5-6 times. She cut off his finger. She berated him. We heard her berate him. Is she a victim of domestic abuse at that point? I think that is the big, one of the big issues in this case. And they put that out there today. His lawyers were not very good on objections. They remain ungood on objections. They're not good at asserting their reasons for objections or their defenses against them. And it's a little bit of a problem. I don't think it's been a crippling problem for them so far, but they need to balls up and get more assertive. They really need to do that. Because it's just like, it's just little nitpicky things, but it's not looking good. It's not looking good. And it may become critical at some point. So, let's see. Someone just asked a good question. Tater Tot, didn't the prosecution make the defense for defamation though, since they aren't there for what happened prior to the op-ed piece? They are there for what happened prior to the op-ed piece. Johnny Depp said that those things happened, right, prior to the article. But where I think they're going to go on cross, and this is the hard sell for the jury, for the prosecution, or for the plaintiffs. but it was always a hard sell for the plaintiffs. And that is that these statements incorporate the totality of lies, defamation, and everything that had been going on for 2 years into them. And it's targeted towards industry people. And it was a lie then. And this truth about a lie doesn't make it not a lie, right? Like a negative times a positive is still a negative. I think that's racist math or whatever, but a truth about a lie, well, I told a lie, therefore I'm telling the truth because I told a lie. No, that's not how that should work. She still lied about him, and I think they're trying to incorporate all of that into this. The judge is allowing all this testimony. They could just object to relevance on all of this and say, this has nothing to do with these statements. Here's the statements. Let's focus on it. They're not doing that. And that may be a bad move on the defense's side for not trying to focus this down onto those statements. They're going into this entire history. They don't need to. According to them, in their opening statement, she said that she saw the weight of institutions prejudice against women who come out against domestic violence. They said that's a true statement. Okay. Then why are we talking about all this other stuff? I mean, if she saw that, then, oh shit, Odyssey is having trouble. But anyway, so the next part though is, and the next statement was, when she stood up against domestic violence 2 years ago. Well, she did stand up against domestic violence 2 years ago, ostensibly. Such true statement, but it's the inferred, the implied, it's the lie that's built into it. It's the lie that's built into those two statements. And so they're going to work to incorporate all that. I don't think that they've made the defense. And remember, this is a jury. This is not a technically legal appellate level decision coming down on whether or not this is defamatory. The jury gets to decide what Amber Heard meant. The jury gets to decide whether or not she was telling the truth. And they may decide that, and they may not. They may realize, yeah, she was actually just trying to destroy his career and build up her own. She was sacrificing his career at the altar of hers. And that's through lies and misconceptions that she had been working on for 2 years. And that's unacceptable. If they do that, she loses. We'll see. Okay. After that, David Rottenborn came up and started cross-examination for about 15 minutes. And it was good. It focused right on those technical aspects of defamation. The problem with it is he's going to keep going, and he's going to bring in all the other stuff and remind the jury about all of these situations in which Amber Heard hit Johnny Depp. And the best he's going to get is that maybe at some point Johnny was on drugs, and maybe at some point Johnny slapped her. Or there's a bombshell waiting that we don't know about, which would be really interesting. But that's where we're at with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Tomorrow will be the cross-examination of Johnny Depp. It should be fire. It should be fire. And I don't know who will be joining me on the show, but I will be, of course, sending invites out to anybody who wants to, anybody that I know or whatever who wants to come on. And I actually do know one person who will be joining me at some point tomorrow. I don't know when, but the DUI guy will be joining me at some point tomorrow to hang out and watch some trial stuff. So that'll be fun. He's a great cross-examiner, and so I think it'll be nice to have his insight for this. But I think it's going to be a full day of cross-examination too. So we'll see. Yeah, Odyssey has been having issues. Yeah. So I got a message that Odyssey is having an issue on StreamYard. It doesn't give me an option to do anything. I could, let's see, try creating a new broadcast or just remove this destination from the broadcast and re-add it. You can do that? Well, let's try that real quick. Let's see if we can do this. Remove Odyssey Live. Save changes. Now edit. We'll add Odyssey Live. Save changes. There we go. Maybe this will kick it back up. If that works, that'd be amazing. Okay. Let me know if Odyssey comes back. You can hit refresh. We'll see. Success! Oh my God! There's a way to fix it. That's beautiful. Very cool. Very cool. That's a new thing that I don't know if that has ever been. I've never seen that option before, but now I have it. So if it goes down in the future, we can refresh individual destinations. That's pretty fucking cool. I like that a lot. All right. So with Depp and Heard being sorted out, I think I want to read some super chats, and then we'll do unbreaded, and then we'll wrap up. We'll wrap up. Oh, by the way, this is internet drama shit or whatever, but there's a false flag war going on, and it's a disaster. Like everybody's flagging everybody, I guess, or something. And like Ralph, and this is like Ralph and Flamenco and Gator and all of that. Like, I don't know who's all flagging who. Like, all Ralph's channels got flagged down on YouTube or whatever. And right after he said that he should be able to use DMCA for whatever he wants, like, that was stupid and incorrect. But then people decided to do that to him. And so now everybody's flagging everybody. The America First guys, like Nick Fuentes or whatever, is like on board with the flagging or something. It came out now that Odyssey did not actually have an exclusive contract with Ethan Ralph. Apparently, he just kind of lied about that. Like, he just, that because everybody was under the impression, because Ralph said or whatever. And then I think Nick Fuentes even mentioned it, so he must have told him that Ralph had an exclusivity deal with Odyssey. So like for $30,000, yeah, Odyssey's like, nope, no, we didn't have a deal with Ethan Ralph. That wasn't real. So, and I mean, I think everybody questioned why Odyssey would do that, but I don't think anybody questioned that they did. Everybody accepted that. It's insane. And it, of course, it is insane. It wasn't true. Not true at all. So he actually doesn't have that $30,000, which is even fucking funnier, by the way, because the whole thing was that was, everybody went, Ralph doesn't make any fucking money. Well, I mean, I guess he did have that $30,000 deal with Odyssey, so anything you make on top of that is gravy. But he didn't make that deal. So that's pathetic. So anyway, yeah, there you go. And then but yeah, so there's this big drama going on. Everything's good. Like, Ralph is torching Odyssey, and Julian, the owner or whatever of Odyssey, he's like fighting with him, and Lauren Southern's involved in this somehow. It's crazy town going on in that sphere. And I heard that Nick Fuentes and the second guy in America First like had a falling out, which I don't know anything about them. But I wish all of them the best. I hope they spurg slap fight into success. So go to it, guys. I hope you do well. That'll be great. Oh, good night, Ken. Have a nice one. Wait, how is Lauren Southern involved? It's on Twitter, man. Lauren Southern was involved with I think with dispelling the notion that Ralph had a $30,000 exclusive. It was crazy. Not my real name says dumbass commie thinks Iron Front are Nazis. Who's Iron Front? And who thinks that? Like, I don't even know. Who are you talking about? But anyway, it's wild town. And everybody wants me to comment on like Dick Masterson's defense of false DMCAing. I haven't seen so much of a defense so much as I've seen Dick Masterson being Dick Masterson, being a contrarian when people bring up this stuff and people kind of reading into what he's saying. But maybe he is. Maybe he's for it. I don't know. I haven't read all of his tweets, so I think it's too much drama. Too much drama. The commie is using iron front arrows. They're anti-commie. What is an iron front arrow? Who are you talking about? I don't even know. Okay. So anyway, I just wanted to give a brief update on that. Let me hit the super chats and then we'll do unbreaded. Yashmi's Corner says, I just came into this live, but I just saw there were more audio recordings than the ones I saw live in this channel. Did Nick catch that? Maybe he has. I'm really late for the party. Sorry, I just want to know. Oh, Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. Dude, they have hours of audio. That the recording, the snips that they played today in court were started at 2 hours and 40 minutes into the audio. So there's a ton of audio recording. Yeah. They just played a selection of it for this particular witness, for Johnny Depp on direct. They introduced all of it as evidence, though. Next says Balian says, bro, if you think the Red Panda crap is bad, Big Mouth, the show that DUI guy mentioned, is literally an animated series about kids going through puberty and having graphic sex. That sounds horrifying. I've never even heard of it before yesterday, so that was good. MC says, wife and I were at Galaxy's Edge recently, needed a reservation for the park and the lightsaber droid stations months in advance, not required on website and no walk up. Families were turned away, went to the Harry Potter and loved it. There you go. American Legend says, for my 3-month milestone, I want Legal Mindset to choose my CPU for my custom PC. AMD 5600X versus Intel 12600. Choose wisely, please. Shit, he's gone. I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I need to do, I desperately need to do my PC upgrade. And I just, I don't know when I'll have time to do it. Poor Gelth Walker, welcome to Paralegal Status. Welcome back, Gelth. NVS, welcome to Lawyer Status. TJ Ventura says, Nick, are you surprised the Husel murder trial didn't get more attention? You were the only one I saw on LawTube who covered even a part of it. Huge case with implications for comfort care, especially with aging population. Kind of. It was a really long case, though. I mean, hell, it just ended, and I covered it a while back. It was a really long case. I don't know why it didn't get as much attention, but when I heard how long it was going to be, I was like, shit, I don't know if I can cover this. But yeah, in hindsight, like I would have loved to cover more, although it would have interfered with Depp versus Heard. So that's kind of a problem. And I think it overlaps something else. I just didn't have time to do daytime streams back when it started. So, but it was certainly an interesting case, and I'm glad they came to the verdict they did, because from opening and closing statements, it sure seemed like that guy was not guilty. Error 37. What do you guys think about the governor of Florida threatening to look into Twitter board of directors for blocking the sale to Elon? Florida seems to want their money from Twitter stocks. Please look up the article if you can. Well, I mean, the Twitter board of directors, Mindset mentioned this. There's a poison pill that they've introduced, which will reduce the value per share, but increase the amount of shares. I don't know if it's like a split. It doesn't seem like a split, but it seems like some way to Elon Musk has criticized the board of directors of Twitter for basically having no ownership of the stock, and therefore having no interest, no financial incentive or interest for the company to succeed, and acting against the interest of the shareholders since they're not shareholders. Well, they just developed a plan to make themselves bigger shareholders. So And that is supposedly supposed to somehow stop Elon Musk from doing it. I guess maybe it's like a limited restricted purchase, or they're making shares held by the company available for people for a purchase. I don't know the details of it. I'm not a super finance guy. But yeah, I think they should be. Look, Elon's deal is something like 25 to 30% over market value of Twitter. His proposal. That needs to go to the shareholders for a vote. It just should. It should not be stifled by the board because they're acting against the interests of the shareholders. And the shareholders should run a class action lawsuit against them if they prevent the sale. Because that's ridiculous. Like the shareholders could reject the sale, right? Like they could just vote against it and say, nope, we don't want to sell. We don't want it to go private. We don't want to sell to Musk. They could all do that. But if the shareholders accept the price that he's offering, then that's big. That's very big. And who doesn't want an immediate 30% return on your investment? I mean, if you're holding long, sure. If you think Twitter's going to go over that while you're still alive, which it may, could have a great year. Who knows? Ponton21 says, look up SEL, social emotional learning. This is a system they are using to move CRT and wokeness into everything, into every subject. Every day it goes on is every day we all consent to it by non-action. It takes every parent in unity. Tina says, yo, Jerome and me be doing some drive-by with our Glocks. Both have 15 into clip. I shoot 7 times and Jerome shot 10 times at Tyrone. So the question is, how dead is Tyrone? Oh, that was, I think, color-based math or whatever that they talked about. Gnome John says, could I get a toast for my dad, Cal? He's been fighting cancer for over a year and was just declared clear of cancer due to treatment. That is a celebratory toast. And yes, absolutely. Let's get that. Oh, that is fantastic. We get, and look, I'm happy to do all of them, and I'm appreciative of it, and I really do actually give a shit when people ask about these toasts, but some of them do get kind of down and depressing. It's good to toast some good news to Cal, conquering cancer, the long, hard road up the steep mountain, right? Cancer treatment is a bitch. It is unpleasant. It is vile. It is poison to fight cancer. And that poison has prevailed and his body has purged it. And now he is free. May he remain free long into the future. Cheers, Cal. Happy recovery. Tyler Williamson says, greetings from South Korea. I had no idea that Legal Mindset is stuck breathing Chinese pollutants on the daily, just like me. And Crusade is viewing, says, no minus no sounds like woke math, where the answer would be S the D, bigot. Yeah. Oh, and good to know my YouTube super chat window stopped functioning, so I got to go somewhere else for those. There we go. And that probably caused me to lose some member chats, but thanks, YouTube. Fucking great. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Eddie Oliver says, last time Legal Mindset was on, y'all were talking about Kyle Kareth shooting dude on his porch. Grand jury refused to indict. That's how we do it in Texas. Yes, I have talked about it, and it was, in my opinion, the right decision. It was back to the right decision. Real quick, this is important. Farasha Hanum asked if I could toast getting out of the deli and back into the electronics department at Walmart, please. Farasha Hanum, cheers to getting yourself out of that disgusting deli, the Walmart deli, the least deli of all delis, and into the electronics department where the components may be cheap, but at least the games are there, the TVs are nice, and you don't have to smell that slightly fermenting meat all day. May your fingers be forever free from deli slicers. Cheers. Preacher says open stream. Here's something furries burning. Am not surprised. Love the Depp TV turd analysis. Carry on. Have plenty of popcorn. Scott Bain says I feel like a child of divorce with you, Legal Bites, and Emily Baker all streaming the Depp trial. Congrats and best wishes to Gnome John and his dad Cal. My best friend just passed the 5-year mark of all clear scans. That's great, Scott. Yeah, it's it's fun when we all stream together, but like there's people who kind of want different angles, and if people are on my show, there's a certain style to it, and if people are on Legal Bite show, there's a different style to it. If you're on Emily Baker's show, there's a whole nother style to it. So it's it is what it is, and like I said, I mentioned this the other day. We are not a network. We're a group of friends, friendlies, whatever it is, associates, but we're all independent. And so I like the independence of us personally, but we're not a network. So we do our own things. Christopher Nicholson says in K-Town, I told whom I later learned was Gator that I was probably the oldest there. He said Coach Red Pill probably had me beat. Asked Coach Red Pill and he said F off. He didn't splash me. I shook your hand and left, hoping the jerk is dead. I remember you shaking my hand, but no, I don't think he splashed you. I think he did splash someone else though. Cause maybe that story that I heard wasn't true, but he definitely got removed from the bar for his behavior that night. So he was sensitive about his age before that though too, because when the one of the waitresses called him old the night before, and at a different bar, and he got pissed off, and then Ralph like tipped her $100 or something for calling him old, which is one of the funnier things Ralph did. Guy says Coach wasn't being smart, but the bigger issue is the Janissaries at the Daily Beast alerting the Ukrainian government about him. Meanwhile, reporter for LGBTQ Nation Sarah Ashton Crillo is trying to get Peter Lancaster shot, or Sarah Ashton Cirillo is trying to get Peter Lancaster shot also. Oh yeah, the media is all fine with assassinations, by the way. The media is all fine with the doxing of libs of TikTok. By the way, the law Twitter people who I haven't doxed anyone. I just want to point that out. Like, I didn't dox anyone, but all the law Twitter people who shriek at me about supporting doxing and being pro doxing, which I didn't do, they're fine with the outing of the libs of TikTok chick. That's in their tweets. I just said the doxing isn't illegal. I don't think people should do it, but what are you going to do about it? It's the internet. People are going to dox. That's how it goes. But yeah, they're all okay with it, even though they're not okay when it's them. I mean, it's the nature of the beast. I don't know. Ever heard of a fucking phone book? C. Neil says, who owns the Washington Post? Jeff. Oh, Bezos. The Squid says free speech on social media is dead. As late as 2016, you could have the N-word in a meme on Facebook, and it's gotten so bad with their hate speech policy, you can't even say someone is disabled in a meme without a 30-day ban. I saw someone I know got like a 2-week ban the other day for saying they would probably get a ban on Facebook. They're like, oh, Facebook policies, I'm probably going to get a ban. And they didn't have any other message attached. They got banned for saying they would get banned. So good job. Mike EOD says it would be a big improvement if Twitter just enforced its rules fairly across the board. If they banned Antifa the way they banned the Groypers, you can be a hate spewing bigot so long as you are progressive. Yes, that is correct. That is a big problem. And that's the problem. That's why the open source nature of the algorithm and the transparent nature of manual bannings needs to happen. That's why Musk is right on that stuff. Brandon James says they're scared that Elon will do exactly what he says and they will no longer be able to silence opposing speech because fundamentally the left's arguments today always boil down to shut up. Correct. Let's see. Where are we? Okay, let's do it. It's time. Is it time?
Make you swing.
It is time for our daily unbreaded. This is where we will fucking hell. We will read from the book of Matthew Harris called Death Sentences. And oh yeah. Let me goodness gracious, I got like burp gassy today. At least I'm not shart gassy like Ralph. Here we go. What do we got? 29. Oh my goodness. That is early. That is early in the text. 29. This is where we read one page at random from the book Death Sentences by Matthew Harris, the 803-page book that was the news story when he got arrested. This is a former UCLA doctorate lecturer, has a PhD in philosophy, and was employed by UCLA. This man taught classes, this is important to know, at UCLA. And here we go. You're one page off. I am not one page off. Here we are. Gotta get warmed up. Gotta get ready. Gotta get this ready. Gotta get this ready. Just kidding. Unworthy of life. These Toms don't deserve medical care. They deserve to die of the unworthy man's diseases as quickly as it can possibly kill them. Professional philosophy is just the unworthy man's bullshit way of suppressing a binger's true mind and ideas. There's too much sex and personal contact in the profession. There's too much pressure to be personally liked. It's not about talent. It's about people who sleep together. This is why lots of fags get through and look good. Lots of good, talented graduate students to get pushed out if they won't sleep with drunken old men who want to put their closer cane inside them in exchange for job hirings. Binger don't play that shit. A binger don't play that shit. Binger get ignored in the classroom. Even if I have my hand up for a half hour, the professor would call on undergrads and random ass unworthy students while ignoring me. The unworthy boy who picks his nose in class would repeat my ideas and get asked to put them on the board, but I would get ignored while I said them. Trust me, that shit is on purpose. Always escalate the tensions, Binger. They send him to Harvard and he still picks his nose while a Binger living the Jim Crow 2020 and gets lynched online for whistling at an unworthy woman. The unworthy man goes out of his way to make Binger uncomfortable, giving special opportunities to unworthy and lesser students flying abroad to give talks and co-write papers, and pretends that the Binger doesn't need real guidance as of affirmative action, their favorite excuse. They talk down and emasculate the Binger while acting like his ideas aren't ready yet, acting like he needs to be more unworthy in order to be more professional. Real shit, they act like a Binger isn't a man yet until he learns to imitate them and pledge allegiance to unworthy bullshit. Fuck all of you get shot, you faggots, or lame as fuck 1488 losers. Bow before your Binger's superior. You can't compare to me. They want to make Binger sweet like June tea. They want to add sugar to a Binger soul. They want to make a Binger feel like if he's got an itch in his pants, he's gay. They want to confuse Binger with dumb shit so that Binger criticize themselves and think Binger ain't tough enough. Real shit, they want Binger to go insane. They want Binger to criticize themselves and use word tricks to put venom in a Binger mind. Just ask the Way of the Dead. That's all he does. Put weird ass perverted words and comments into conversations like it's normal? Nah, every Binger knows an unworthy man who does shit like this. They do the same with racism, subtle phrases and shit to attack a Binger. They use misdirection and don't meet Binger on the same genuine energy. So Binger, be wise and never meet them at a kind energy. Have your guard up and guns raised every time you meet with the unworthy man. No, they are never there to be kind. They are never there to be responsible or sensible. They are only there for themselves. They are all just as bad as slave masters, no matter what they bring up in conversation to distract you or how many times they say they love Uncle Tom President. They are there to distract you first, then to say shit that will make a Binger different. They plan that shit in advance. They plan it before meetings with you, Binger. Stop going into room with them thinking you can just be real. Don't play. Don't be on some generous togetherness bullshit. Don't act like you have friends who are unworthy. They still have the money that your ancestors deserve to get paid. They still own your ancestors as slaves. They're your ancestors still collecting them bank. Therefore, they worked for none of it, and it still collects them revenue. They still have your ancestors locked up. Every unworthy man who owns stocks or a business is still collecting pay for money your slave ancestors slaved away to generate. So when you ask about reparations, keep in mind their money isn't theirs and that they are holding your ancestors hostage. Don't hesitate to sever their heads. Don't hesitate to.
Unbread!
Woo-hoo-hoo! There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That was our daily unbreaded. Oh man. Well, I hope that was enjoyable for you. Hope that was enlightening and educational. Of course, we always want enlightening education. Ooh. Transfer of Koreans his last few days have been having more buddies show up just for unbreaded. Oh no. Oh no. I love how the slaves built up all these corporations and businesses, even though many of them don't exist in slave states. So that's fine. That's good. I agree, by the way, fucking slave owners. All right. Let's do a super chat wrap up here. We've got the chats for the show, and then we will. Well, I have to. So here's the deal. I would normally be teaching tomorrow, but Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard is on. And I am going to exercise a day off and provide a video lesson for my Utes. But that means that I will be here tomorrow for Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard when it starts, rather than over an hour late. So we'll be here at the normal time. Everything will be great. I will be but I have to, right after this, I have to record a lesson. So that's an hour. It's an hour of time. Well, not quite. I think it's about 40 minutes that I need to do. But yeah. So that's what I'm going to do right when I'm done here, is do that and then as quickly as possible get to bed. But we're going to wrap up the super chats, and then I will see you guys tomorrow morning, I hope, for Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard. Last day this week of Depp versus Heard. Friday is a day off. And then we'll see how it goes after that. All right. Over on Odyssey, Radicalized Ryan sent a coin comment. Thank you. Kentucky Life says, Robert Barnes at Barnes Law, 3M noon Cali time, Thursday, a special edition sidebar with salty cracker and the Viva Fry. May the tears flow freely. Yeah, that's very cool. I'm glad Salty was able to go on Viva and Barnes. I was under the impression that Salty wasn't doing appearances, so glad to see that he's able to get onto their show. I think they're a great platform to visit, and I wish all of them tons of success. Salty tears it up on Odyssey and Rumble. It's really something to behold. Malik Foxon says, "Bro, the timing was perfect on that disconnect. Oh no, the Korean Peninsula you couldn't pay for better stuff." Herman Armenia says, "How does it feel knowing that Heard killed both her marriage and Harry Potter / Fantastic Beasts? Part of me wants to see her mocked and paraded in the streets. The other part wants to praise her for killing that trash." Well, I think the only reasonable outcome is do the Cersei treatment, right? The shame walk. I think we could do that, right? The shame walk through the streets. It'd have to be televised, of course. Herman Armenia says, "Nice to see Depp get some revenge in creating a vacuum that kills those series he was part of. What about Secrets of Dumbledore? Spoiler alert, Dumbledore's gay, except in China. Also, cut lesbian scene in Disney Star Wars for China. Hollywood's official stance, don't say gay." Yeah. Yep. I agree. Always has been. Bailey 7 over on Rumble says, "The Hulk coaster, please. The Velocicoaster is where it's at, Boomer." I don't remember that one. I don't know. Morsk says, "Just because." And Kyan Rennell says, "Happy 420, aka Adolf Hitler's birthday." Oh my God. Very, very, very Kyan Rennell of you. Callanjaw Indie Games says, "Thank you very much," or TYVM. I'm assuming it's thank you very much and not like touch your vagina, man. Maybe that's what he said. Maybe it's touch your vagina, man. C. Neal says, "Oh crap, Adam, let me go grab a bottle and a trash can." Cledge Fenrir says, "The mouse knows how to bend Disney." DCV Titan says, "Well, you know what they say, write what you know." So it was that or cats. Yes, menstruation or cats. Contrarian. No, wait. Shit. Magician Sapphire says, "Serves Disney right. They should have listened to Chapek in the first place when he said stay apolitical. Wokeism is becoming the aids of many corporations." Wrong, Magician Sapphire. To be apolitical is to be political. Because if you're not willing to speak into these issues, then you are clearly on the right. Bigot! Contrarian says, "Let us remember that George Lucas referred to Disney as white slavers. Took their money, though." Rice Jones says, "We don't talk about Bruno because he was a symbol of the patriarch. I would not be surprised if the family was exporting a magical white powder." Yeah, me too. In Kanto? Absolutely. C. Neal says, "Thanks, Nick, as the father of boys. I thought I had dodged ever even thinking about that subject. Thank you for that mind picture and for killing that dream." Woo! RN Rules says, "I need the ability to scan a receipt in California or other state and have it available for print in Tennessee. Any recommendations?" Just get one of the scanning options and send someone send the PDF where you need it to go. Stream the recording of the class lesson? No. No thanks. It's too distracting, man. Way too distracting. OSPDY says, "OSPDY, the channel you need, OSPDY." I guess you need it. Check it out, I guess. Cole Roberts says, "I passed the MPRE today. Please do a shot for me." That's the I think it's the multi-state professional responsibility examination. You have to pass the MPRE to eventually be able to get licensed. Similar to the bar, it is your professional responsibility exam, and I think you have to get an 85% on it. To Cole Roberts, passing the MPRE, a great hurdle to overcome. Congrats, brother. Now you can just ignore that shit for the rest of your life. You'll remember the rules just fine. I just mean ignore the daunting task of the test, because that test is nerve-wracking, if only because it's just fucking annoying. Cheers, man. Do the students ever super chat? God, I hope not. I tell all of my students, I say, yes, I do have a YouTube channel. No, none of you are allowed to watch it at all until you're 30. Poor cunt, I squat with JD says, hey, Nick and Andrew, your JD Amber Heard coverage is unmissable. Do you like my avatar and tagline? Lol. Yes. Yes, I do. It's great. Jackson Kai says, so what is the best way at getting involved in a homeschool co-op? My younger brother is struggling with his son getting abused by school for acting like a little boy. He's not opposed, just has no idea where to start. Well, you just got to look for co-ops in your area. You can either Google co-ops in homeschool co-op in your area, or you can just ask around some local churches, because somebody at a church knows where a homeschool is. And that's where you start. And if you want to get involved in a homeschool, I mean, you typically involve your kid and then you contribute something, because they're mostly, they're volunteer associations. I mean, you pay to join some of them because there's some fees that they need to, supplies and shit that they cover, but it's usually not that expensive. Or at least in my experience, it's not that expensive. I end up donating extra. And you just start with Google. If you can't find it on Google, go to a local church, find out what people have. I don't know if Mindset has ever done an unbreaded. He'd be welcome to. He needs to be here when we do it. And it's got to be after 2 hours. Now, that's usually it's like in the middle of his day, but we'll get him on one at some point. CC says, Nick, first cheers ever requested, and it's for my uncle's birthday. He would have been over 100 today. He loved his family and his people and was hated for it. Happy birthday to Uncle H. Cheers. God damn it. Cheers to Uncle H. Happy birthday. CC, you're a fucker. Kinda X122 says, here's $5 to get Nick to say, I doubt it, in the Richards voice. I doubt it. There you go. I hope that helps you. Mars R1970 says, once upon a time, LGBT community said their personal life had nothing to do with their job. Today, it has to be in every aspect of their job. Yeah, well, it's what one generation tolerates, the next society embraces. Is that what it is? I think there's 3 steps to it. And like the next generation embraces and the next generation demands, something like that. Andrew Clark says, Riddler takes photos from his secret lair and gives them to Batman. If Batman reverse engineered that location, 80% of the movie doesn't happen. Thinlag says, they made the math gay. Making the freaking math gay. Nice. Samurai Knight says, lol, my school had something like that and I won it. Selrin says, I'm in California, but I only caught the tail end of this. Common Core started when I was a junior. I got to get out of this state. Oh, you got to get out. Yeah, California. I say that knowing I've got to get out of Minnesota and I probably can't. Dude, it cost me so much money to live in Minnesota this year. It's fucking awful. XX name XX530 says, can we get a toast to your poor overworked liver? To my liver, the true champion of the night shows, the filter, the blood purifier, the organ that is doing the work every single day. No union hours for this man. We're talking old school days and days of bone breaking labor. Cheers to my liver. Rest in peace. Alberto Bonsanto says, conservatives won the last election in Korea. What will they change their legal mindset? Shit, I didn't see that one earlier. Sorry. Sunshine says, I get married this weekend. Ironically, this trial hasn't worried me. A toast to my fiance and I with any advice will help. Sunshine, congratulations. And cheers to your upcoming marriage. The advice I can give you is this. Marriage is a two-way street, and both parties, there's 2 parts to this, just a second. Both parties have to give 100%. It is not about reciprocity. It is not about an even exchange. It is the full giving of yourself to the other and the full giving of them to you. You'll fail at this often, over and over, but don't worry about it. Because if each day you make the effort to give 100% on balance, you'll do fine. That being said, the person that you marry today will not be the person you marry later. So when you go, you're not the person I married. Well, no shit. And you're not the person they married either. But it's a choice that you make every day. And they have to make it as well. It is a two-way street. But the most important part of this, final part of this, is that there's only one person that you can work on and only one person that you can change, and that's you. And so if things aren't working out, you can do your part, but you can never do theirs. And that cuts both ways. So remember that, stay positive, and give it your effort every day, and you'll be fine. Cheers. Error. Nope, read that one. Mr. Lawlinator says, anyone else feel like the more woke things get, the more it makes people want to be more racist just because? Yes. Yep. C. Goody says, Latinx, Black X, Chin X, Chi X. I like this system. Andrew War Snowboard says, I give that pun 9 out of 9. Thumb Ugly says, haha, ethnomathematics final solution. The final solution is always 0. Elvis says, I've been trying to fight this with the youngins in my life. It's absolutely disgusting. Also tell Nate the lawyer he's my one-eyed brother from another mother. Lol, lost my left eye when I was 4. Socratic Method says, damn it, Susan. Thin Lax says, Nick. C. Neil says, oh my God, they killed Kenny. Socratic Method says, Streamlab shit in Nick's bed. StreamYard to be clear. Ryuzan says, you are forgetting Coach Red Pill was doxxed by the Daily Beast to Ukrainian forces. I mean, he was, but he was also he was broadcasting from the hotel where he was staying and stuff like that. And was his docs not already available? Again, the Daily Beast is a piece of shit. Daily Beast is a piece of shit. I'm just saying that what Coach Red Pill was doing was ill-advised. And I still hope he shows up alive somewhere, right? Alive and not raped. I'm generous like that. I hope Coach Red Pill shows up alive and not raped somewhere. But Daily Beast, they can get raped for all I care. Fuck them. Pieces of shit. Fuck Daily Beast. Ailvice says, I started watching because of Rittenhouse and have watched off and on ever since. I stayed for the drinking, so have some rum on a pirate. Oh man, I'm not getting out any rum tonight. Remember, I got to record a video in a little bit, and I've done plenty of whiskey so far, and the rum's not open. Kevin Dorr says, no, Andrew, it's pretty simple. He shouldn't be murdered by people who are supporters of 1930s German political party. We shouldn't be murdered by anybody. Right? Junebug says, just some guy is a groomer too. Oh, just some guy's been, what was he just supporting? Like he supported the grooming stuff, but he supported something else just the other day. Well, was it it was doxing, I think. He was supporting the doxing too. Sword and Scale says, tell Legal Mindset he has a nice jawline and a nice face and you'd be willing to make love to it. There, I created an awkward moment. Here, hold on. I'll send that I'm going to send that in the lawyer super chat, or not in the lawyer private chat that we have on Twitter. So at Legal Mindset. Sword and Scale. There we go. Done. Flufferboy 2004 says it has to be congruent. Mandy Karavich says Nick is late and gay because he's authentic. It's true. It's true. I really did try not to be late today, but we were watching my wife and I realized we hadn't finished season 2 of The Witcher. So we watched an episode of The Witcher And then I got done. It's like, oh, cool. I'll be on time. I have 6 minutes to get downstairs. And then I went to go tell the kids to like make sure their screens were off and that they actually went to sleep. And then I got sidetracked by my kids because I like them. Kevin Speaks On It says, it's all about the work, Nick. It's all about the work. I'm doing the good work. Lamau. Why waste your time watching that? I like the first season just fine. Second season, I'm having a harder time following because we took a long break in the middle of it. But I didn't play the games. I don't care about the fucking lore. I didn't read the books. So I'm just watching it as a show. And it's okay. It's fine so far. But the second season is less interesting than the first, but my wife is a completionist. So if we start something, we got to finish it. Like we got to watch the whole thing. So we'll get to it eventually. Do I know if Tug will be on tomorrow? I do not. I do not know if Tug will be on tomorrow. No, I wasn't late because of The Witcher. We finished. If we have a show that's going to take me even up to within 5 minutes of the start of this show, we don't start one, but we had plenty of time to watch it. It was my kids. Cause I like interacting with my kids, and when I tell them to go to bed, they're super sweet. And they're like, okay, Dad, I love you, Dad. You're so nice, Dad. I'm going to sleep like an angel. It's like, what is wrong with you people? Logan Orr says, just had a McDonald's employee roll his eyes at me. Oof, I wish I could swing on him legally. Look, for catharsis, go watch that scene from Falling Down. That's what you need to do. Jackson Kai says, you think Elon wants digital I live in a computer immortality, or say Eve Online every time a rich person dies, their mind downloads into a new clone? Yes. Yeah, I would think so. Blame it on the kids. I will. Every time. It's their fault. Bung Magoo says, the only scary thing with Tesla, he knows everywhere you drive / visit. If he gains Twitter too, then he'll know a scary amount about us. Data is king. But your phone company already does. And many cars already do too. So, it's part of it. It's part of it. We agree to these things. The main thing is keeping the government away from the things that we agree to with private companies, because just because you agree to it with a private company should not expose you to the government. Fuck off. Eric from Wisconsin says, we should ruin the he-she life who got Lyra ended. Kevin Dorr says, wow, these high-powered dollar lawyers, not impressive. The modern American expert class, not that good. What's your problem, Kevin Dorr? Or are you talking about like the Depp lawyers? Maybe that might be what you're talking about. I don't know. Scott Bain says, whatever the merits, I think Virginia's rules of civil procedure that requires a unanimous jury verdict will prevent Johnny Depp from prevailing here. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. We'll see. Mandy Karavich, yes, The Witcher has sex and nudity in it. A whole lot more in the first season. And Yennefer is smoking hot. So that was good times, but not a lot in the second season as far as I don't know what episode we're on, but as far as we've watched, not a lot in the second season. Quite a bit in the first season, though. And then Battle Elf says, don't turtle. And then he says, don't turtle. Nightmare FD3S says, hey, Boomer, when are you going to put in the work? You know, the work, mainly installing the 3090 Ti you got. Recently built my first PC. It's a beast. Oh, I love the feeling of building a first PC. I really do. It's great. Shit. Hold on. Some more came in from where I left off. To answer your question, I don't know. I have to have enough time between shows to do it. So maybe Sunday. I would do it. I wanted to do it last weekend. I wanted to do it this weekend, but Friday I'm going to be pretty busy, but I might have time Friday. Otherwise, Saturday, I'm going to be at Make-A-Wish, and Sunday, I'm going to be coming back from Make-A-Wish. So I might have time Sunday in the evening. I don't know. But I have to have enough time before the show to get everything working, because I can't have a fucking tech issue interfere with the show, because you guys will be mean. Socratic Method says, are you playing Elden Rings after? That is the way, brother. Not tonight. Elden Ring tomorrow after the show. Chainsaw Octopus says, I want Nick to make the toast at my wedding. I'd imagine wonders await. Aiden Bergen says, Nick, thanks. This show helped. I might be out of a job now. I hope you're not, man. But if you are, it's temporary. You'll find something new, and it may even be better. Philip Booty says, Matthew talking about Dem Party keeping bingers down. Aisha Frazier says, grift the lesson, post it to your channel. No. Socratic Method says, I wonder what it would look like if Nick played Elden Ring while also watching the Depp trial. Looked like me being like, fuck! And they'd be like, what? Like, never mind. Everything's fine. 1337 Elite Bald Eagle says, does the Depp jury have to be unanimous? And if not, what's required? Yes, they have to be unanimous in Virginia. But there's other good stuff about Virginia that helps with the unanimity. And he may get a very good jury instruction on it. We'll see. We'll see how they do it. Timothy Reaper says, record an hour of death sentences for your class. Yes, that would be perfect. Dalton Sutton says, it's my father's brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate's birthday today. Can he get a toast? I'm out of liquor, but sure. To Dalton Sutton's father's brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate, happy birthday. MR says, I panicked because I thought I didn't pass the MPRE. Thank God I did. You can use water so you're not wasted for class. Cheers, MR. Cheers. What's her name says, husband and I celebrated 28 years married tomorrow. Toast. Again, I'm drinking Propel. What's her name? To 28 years. 2 away from 30, which is an arbitrary milestone. 28 years of work, 28 years of love, 28 years of struggle, and of overcoming struggle and opposition and challenges. 28 years of building, creating, and growing. And may there be 28 more and then some after that. Happy marriage. Cheers. American Legend says everything is right with that. Ricada Law. Cool. Callenshaw Indie Games says, what character you play in Elden Ring? I play a wretch with maxed out strength, high endurance, enough mind to have 100 FP, and then dual colossal hammers and gunt armor. That's what I play. Cynthia, and I heard they just got an update, so I'm really anxious to play because they updated colossal weapons. Cynthia says, update from New York City. Spent the evening editing a kid's essay about a Nigerian girl by Adichie and debating if she should participate in a day of silence in school to support gays and lesbians. Most are. I kid you not. She's 14. That shit, it just doesn't have anything to do with their curriculum. It drives me crazy. It's so silly. But blessings to you, Cynthia. Helping out a kid with whatever they're doing is, that's cool. You're supporting someone, you're helping them out, and that's great. And kids need supportive adults. So my hat's off to you. Lieutenant Hobbit says, should I stop being lazy and just run/upload on my 5 YouTube channels? Yes. Stop being lazy. Do it. Do the thing. Do the thing. There you go, guys. That's the show. I hope, oh yeah, and I still only have 10 vigor. Because vigor is for quitters. Thanks, guys. Hope you enjoy the show. See you soon. I'm going to play the outro, and we'll catch you next time. Have a good night, guys. Peace. Peace.
He drinks a fair bit, but you realize that it just helps get his noggin jogging along. With his glass by his side and his kids asleep tight, we'll hear some lost-plaining tonight. With his microphone muted, we'll laugh at this boomer until he explains it's all part of the plan. Watch his face become redder as he becomes meta, raging at idiots from Twitterland. From the white shores of Maine to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed, to make the law what we have now. Oh, his lady is fair, and she handles herself with the grace of one who has borne many children. As the wife of a lawman, she makes sure that he has the time and the place to provide for them there. So pour out an Ardbeg, a Balmore, a Lafroig, the spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter, as we hear lost planning tonight. From the white shores of Nairn to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed, to make the law what we have now. Oh, the guests are all plentiful, from Dundee to Drexel. They bring their perspective and spice to the mix. But the reason we're here and the one that we cheer is the one who is showcasing us his career. Get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter, as we hear lost planning tonight. From the white shores of Nairn to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed,